Okay, like welcome. We'll go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. Today's date is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. As I call the meeting to order, I just want to make sure to share with you all who may or may not have joined us before our vision, mission, and purpose statement as the governing board of Baboquivari Unified School District. It is always important for us to continue to support and uphold these statements, especially on behalf of our schools and the effort of all of our teachers and staff. Our vision statement is our students will be loved, encouraged, and prepared to take on the world by embracing our himduck. Our mission statement is we create healthy, inspiring, motivating, developing, achieving graduates. And our purpose statement is we create a nurturing learning environment for every child every day with an additional commitment to our himduck. Himduck, for those of you who may not know, is the O'odham word meaning our way of life, and it is as representatives of the community and all the members of the nation as well. It is always our honor and especially our passion to be able to include not only the O'odham York, but continue to uphold its importance amongst our schools. The Belmont Secretary for the roll call, Mr. Sabala.
All those present, here are I, Juan Padilla,
Yan Haichu.
Kathleen Vance,
In height,
Sylvia Hendricks,
in height,
Adam Marie Stevens, Jessica Miguel.
present.
That completes roll.
All right, we do have a quorum. We'll continue with this evening's agenda. And just to announce, ladies and gentlemen, I have asked wonderful students from our primary campus to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Please welcome Mr. Adam Capone and Soraya Arianella, and stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. All right, we'll continue with this evening's agenda. Letter D is our routine business. Number one is the approval of the March 3rd, 2025 board meeting agenda. Board members, I do have some changes for the agenda this evening. With your permission, we will be moving, first of all, number 5, which is the foundation presentation, to number 3. And all of the, well, first we'll address that. Second two items that I would like to actually pull for possible study sessions and/or allowing us some more time to actually consider questions and/or consideration for the presentations, which will be number 6, the Baboquivari Unified School District Social and Emotional Learning presentation, and number 14, which is the first reading of the Arizona School Board Association Policies 809, 818. Again, those items will be pulled just to be able to have either a study session or some more discussion based on the items that were presented.
So we don't table those items, we just pull them.
Yeah.
Number, what was the first number?
Well, first of all, we're moving number 5 to number 3.
Yeah, I got that one.
Number 6 is being pulled, and number 14.
Okay.
Lamasapo, is that it? Are there any other amendments to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve with the amendments?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Kathleen Vance,
Second.
second by Ms. Sylvia Hendricks.
All those in favor of the motion, Juan Padilla,
Lamasapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapo.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Masapo.
Jessica Miguel.
4.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 2 is our approval of the Baboquivari Unified School District February 10th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes without objection. A motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kathleen Vance.
All those in favor of this motion, Juan Padilla,
Lamasapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapo.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Not voting?
Jessica Miguel.
4.
Motion carries.
Number 3 this evening is our call to the audience.
I did not receive any call to the audience.
For the record, we do not have no call to the audience this evening. We'll continue with the agenda. Letter E is our information items. Number 1 is the Baboquivari Unified School District Students of the Month. Mr. Diaz.
President Buendia, members of the board, members of the community, thank you so much for being here today. This is our favorite part. This is when we get to honor every single one of our students and their families. And at this point, if it's your first time getting the Student of the Month, you need to come forward, shake everybody's hand. We're going to take a picture of you, but for the picture, your family needs to come with you because they're part of your success. Having said that, at this point, please help me put your hands together to welcome our principal for the primary campus, Ms. Jennifer Enriquez.
Good evening, President Buendia, Governing Board members, Superintendent Diaz, and community members. Our first student of the month is in pre-K. I don't see her, but if I miss her, Daisy Tutu. Daisy has shown great leadership in our classroom these past couple of weeks. She is always willing to lend a helping hand when she notices her peers are struggling. She is kind, caring, friendly, and a joy to have in the class. Keep up the good work, Daisy. Daisy wants to be a dentist when she grows up. For kindergarten, I'm going to have Miss Pete come up to present her student with her Student of the Month.
Hello, I'm Miss Pete. For my student, I selected Abel Juan. He's sitting right there. Abel is a strong leader in our classroom. He continues to be a strong role model for our class. He's always wanting to provide a helping hand. He's super funny. We just learned how to do hand turkeys earlier, so he's a good jokester. He's an amazing writer and has shown a great growth. His kindness and love for his school reflects in the classroom. I'm super excited to see the success Abel has in the future. Abel wants to be a firefighter when he grows up.
Thumbs up. Ready? Come on, help us, buddy. There you go.
Thank you. All right.
For first grade, we have Lena Andrews. I don't see her. Lena is such a delight to have in the class. She was nominated by Mrs. Spotted Wolf. She is a student who wastes no time. She comes into class, gets busy working on her assignments, participates in class, and follows instructions. Because of her outstanding work habits as a student, she excels academically. On top of being a great student, Lena is also a great person. She is friendly, kind, and always smiling. She often volunteers to help out her classmates and her teacher. As a result, her classmates see Lena as a leader and someone they can count on. Lena's hard work, passion in learning, and desire to do well is a great combination for success. Miss Spotted Wolf has no doubt she will be very successful in the future. When she grows up, she also would like to be a firefighter. Our second grade student of the month is Jesse Montana. Jesse has been a great student to have in class. He is always coming to school ready to learn. He actively participates in the classroom discussions and activities. He is producing quality work on what they are learning. He is very bright and motivated. He is kind and helpful towards his classmates. There he is. One more round of applause. Jesse is always looking to make others laugh. Miss Adson is glad to be able to see him continue to grow and become a successful learner. When Jesse grows up, he wants to be a soccer player.
Family, please come forward so we can take a picture with you. Then you will send it in the middle. Do you like a heart? Thumbs up on number 1, 3, 6. Thumbs up it is. And we can have somebody visit you. Congratulations, parents. And thumbs up. Congratulations.
For third grade, the student was nominated by Mrs. Gowan. She is from the House of Isabindi, Penelope Dolores. Penelope is performing exceptionally well in her academics, has good attendance, and is always willing to lend a hand to anyone who needs help. Penelope comes to class with a smile and is determined to do her best on all her assignments. Her writing has improved greatly, and she continues to impress Ms. Gowan with the quality of work she completes. This is why Penelope deserves to be the Student of the Month for third grade. When she was asked what she wants to be when she grows up, Ms. Lon says she would like to be a high school science teacher because science is her favorite subject.
Doing thumbs up. Congrats.
Our final Student of the Month was nominated by Mrs. Tana Tongo from our Tinker Lab, Jet Ackerman. Jet comes to class ready to learn. He has good attendance and rarely misses a day of school. Jet is quiet but has started to open up during SFA reading class as well as specials class. Jet has shown improvement in reading and speaking skills. He is sounding out words and he is becoming more confident in his learning. Jet does his homework and brings back the read and respond forms. It has been wonderful to see his growth over the last 2 quarters of school. Keep up the good work, Jet. When Jet was asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Jet said he would like to be a cop when he grows up. He wants to train others to be police officers, and he wants to help people. Congratulations, Jet.
You want thumbs up, everybody?
Thank you.
Please welcome Ms. Begay Lewis from the Intermediate Campus.
Good evening, families. I don't see our 4th grade student, Nijoni. Is she here? No. Well, she was nominated by Ms. Tubala for her consistency in her academic progress and positive behavior in the classroom, and she always tries her best and never gives up. And then our specials teacher.
Good evening. My name's Kimberly Danny. I'm the specials teacher. I chose TJ Martinez. I don't see her here, but she always comes into my SFA class with discipline and respectfulness. I can always depend on her to complete tasks and to also guide her students and her groups. It's really such a joy to have her in my class because I see her every day.
And then for 5th grade, we have from Mr. Cody's class, Haley Lopez. Haley was nominated because she is an amazing student who displays positive classroom behavior and great work ethics. She is very knowledgeable of her culture and self-identity. She also displays positive growth mindset that is driving her academic success. She would like to make the world a better place by picking up trash around the community, help community relationships, earn money for her family, and help families in need.
Big thumbs up. Here we go.
And our last student from 6th grade, Aliana Jose. Aliana is from Mr. Harian's class. She is being nominated for demonstrating exceptional leadership, kindness, and dedication to her studies. She always has a positive attitude in and out of the classroom and puts great effort into all her assignments. She is very hardworking, respectful, and her willingness to participate makes her a role model for her classmates. And she would like to make the world a better place by making sure everyone is kind to each other, helpful, and sharing with each other. Congratulations and thank you, and Miss Once from high school.
Let's give her a big hand for Ms. Once.
Hello, President Buendia, board members, Superintendent Diaz, families, friends, and students. Okay, so our 7th grade student of the month is Lonnie Harvey. Lonnie's guardian is O'Hara Ortega. Lonnie is an athlete. This year, Lonnie played flag football for Baboquivari Cougars. Lonnie's favorite class is math because he loves the questions. His favorite teacher is Miss Sosi because she is awesome and helps him get his work done. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Lonnie plans on going to college, maybe at ASU. His current career goal is to become a video game designer. One person that Lonnie greatly admires and would like to honor is his guardian, O'Hara Ortega. Lonnie would like to thank her for her love and support. Keep up the good work, Lonnie. Good job, Lonnie. The 8th grade team names Daryl, student of the month for February. Darylyn's guardians are Esther and Berlin Castillo. She is also an athlete playing volleyball and basketball for the Baboquivari Lady Cougars. Darylyn's favorite class this year is social studies with Mr. Cutler because it is cool to find out things happened in history. Her favorite teacher is also Mr. Cutler because he's funny. You can ask him questions and he's a very good teacher. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Darylyn is considering going to the University of Arizona. She also plans on entering the workforce and finding a job. Her current career goal is to become a criminal psychologist. Darylyn would like to thank her family, her friends, and her teachers for all their support. Keep up the good work, Darylyn. Raylam Roy is the 9th grade student of the month for February. Raylam is the son of Jessica Jose and Reynard Roy. Raylam's favorite teacher this year is Miss Jella Cabaratan because she's nice and a very cool teacher. After completing his studies at Baboquivari High School, Raylam plans on going to college. He is considering all 3 universities in Arizona. His current career goal is to become an artist or paleontologist. Raylan would like to thank his parents, Jessica, Jose, and Reynard, his brother Grayson, and his late uncle Zach, and all the rest of the family members for all their love and support. Congratulations, Raylan. Okay, 10th grade. Ezekiel Hendricks is the sophomore class student of the month. Ezekiel is the son of Jessica and Arlen Hendricks. Ezekiel is a student athlete running cross country and playing varsity basketball for the Baboquivari Warriors. He serves on the student council as sophomore class treasurer and participates in yearbook. Ezekiel's favorite teacher this year favorite class this year is geometry with Dr. Flores because geometry makes sense to him. Ezekiel's favorite teacher is Mr. Enos because he's Mikey. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Ezekiel's plans are not fixed. He is considering going to college or going to work. Ezekiel would like to thank and honor his parents for giving him all the opportunities and support over the years. Ezekiel would like to do a shout out to his teammate Gabriel Pablo. Let's go Warriors.
Ready? You're gonna dab for him. Ready?
Kaysen Garcia is the junior class student of the month for February. Kaysen is a student athlete playing football and baseball for the Baboquivari Warriors. Kaysen's favorite class is digital communication with Ms. Lopez because he enjoys working with the cameras. Kaysen's favorite teacher this year is Ms. Lopez because he likes her class and she's a fun teacher. Side note, he helps make the videos and the little tabs that go through. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Kaysen plans on either going to college or joining the military. Kaysen's current career goals are open and he's looking forward to seeing what the world has to offer. Thank you, Kaysen. Okay, ready for our 12th grade student of the month. Taj Meese is a senior class student of the month for February. Taj is the son of Merla Pablo and Joseph Meese. He is a student athlete playing football and varsity basketball for the Baboquivari Warriors. He also serves as the vice president of the yearbook club. Taj's favorite class this year is TO History with Mr. Enos because it is a very involved and interactive class where you get to go outside. His favorite teacher is Miss Dora because she's nice and you can laugh with her. After graduating from Baboquivari High School, Taj plans to go to college. He is considering ASU or U of A. Taj's current career goal is to become an architect. Taj would like to honor his grandparents, his parents, and his siblings. He would like to thank them all for being his motivation and role models. We're proud of you, Taj. Congratulations.
Ready, we're gonna do Wildcat. Wildcat, ready?
You have to put the forks up on one side.
Where's the rest of them?
Join us, join us.
Grandma's
All
coming.
300, please join us. All
Oh.
Come on with me. Got me? All family. All right, Wildcat. You okay?
You have to do it one on each side. The fork.
Oh, never mind the heart. Never mind the heart. Congratulations, guys.
Okay, thank you. That's it for the secondary campus. Next up, we have Mr. V. Nueva.
Good evening, everybody. President Buendia, board members, BSD board members, Superintendent Diaz, and all the families that are here. Super special night, celebrating all our students. This is wonderful. Student of the month for Indian Oasis Middle High Accelerated School is Yesenia Ortiz. Yesenia is a student who's involved in the After School Mesa Club. She also stays after school for the After School Math Tutoring Club, and she still makes time to look after her family members as well. She is very dedicated, she's kind, and this month she's already completed 56 hours of activities for the month of February. So we're very proud and honored to bestow this award to Yesenia Ortiz, Student of the Month.
What is it? Oh, family members, please join us. Family members. Everybody, all family. All family. Today we're all celebrating that family. We're gonna do number one. Ready?
Number one. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You
usually I do a little bit of a closeout for student month. However, I don't want to release everybody yet because we are going to move right into our next item, which is the Baboquivari Unified School District Hymn Duck Award, which is a pretty good experience. It recognizes anyone in the community, students for achievement, for their success, especially if they're able to participate within our effort as a community, raising our students, raising our children. So please bear with us, and we'll run through the Hymn Duck Award, and then I'll do a short little send off for all of you amazing students of the month. Thank you.
School Karanyega, Anyana Jugger Ruben Diaz, Walkiwa Hamacham Cook Superintendent. Good evening, my name is Ruben Diaz, and I am the proud superintendent for Baboquivari Unified School District. And today, it is an honor and it is a pleasure. At this point, can you please, everyone, help me welcome all of my lady warriors and warriors in the house so they can come to the front before I read my letter. All my warriors and lady warriors, please come to the front. Come on, Gabe. Come on, everybody. I saw you guys. Come on, Juan. Come on, Kaylin. Come on, let's give it up for the Warriors, everyone. I need to hear it. Members of the community, it is an honor today to have our representatives. But here's more. Come on. Let's all get in here. It is a true pleasure and an honor to have him here tonight. I'm going to read a quick letter that I wrote on behalf of our, not only our governing board, but also myself. And this is only the beginning of the success and all of the lessons that they're teaching us. I want our warriors and lady warriors to know that you're teaching us a lot more than what we're teaching you, based on your commitment and efforts. But this is what I want to say from the bottom of my heart. As we continue to uphold the mission of Baboquivari Unified School District, which is to create healthy, inspiring, motivating, developing, achieving graduates, it is my pleasure to bring to your attention the remarkable achievements of our Warriors basketball teams. Our Warriors basketball teams have amplified the essence of our mission by embracing basketball as a healthy extracurricular activity. Through their dedication, commitment, and sportsmanship, they have not only excelled on the court, but have also inspired future generation of students to represent BUSD with pride and excellence. Their journey through the season serves as a testament to their hard work and determination, motivating and inspiring our entire community along the way. By bringing the community together and proudly representing our school, our community, and the Tohono O'odham Nation, they have demonstrated the true spirit of the warrior spirit. On behalf of our students, staff, board, and community, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation and recognition to our basketball warriors. Your efforts and commitment throughout this season have not gone unnoticed. I would also like to express our gratitude to the Warriors coaches, administrative team, and parents for their continuous support, which has undoubtedly contributed to the success of our team. Once again, congratulations to our Warriors basketball team for their outstanding achievements, and thank you for everyone involved for their dedication and commitment as well. Sincerely, your proud superintendent, Ruben Diaz. Let's give him a big hand. Way to go, guys. Go Warriors! Where my coaches at? Where my coaches at? Give it up for my coaches. This is a little also, I didn't get a chance to put it on my report, but it's important to also note that one of our special members of the community, Mr. Means was nominated as a teacher of the year, so let's give it up. Another 9 teachers got nominated, so we're very proud that his legacy and his dynasty is living on, and all of the students that he has continue to touch and express. And moving forward, now we have to pay respect to the ring. Look at all that bling bling that he's winning. Once again, Lady Warriors and Warriors, I appreciate you guys for everything that you're doing for our community. I appreciate everything that you're doing to better yourself. Everything that you have learned through the guidance of your coaches is going to carry on if you apply it, everything else that you do in life. I saw you were sick and you were there. I saw you getting hurt and you stood up again and kept on going. When somebody else was falling, you guys were cheering, and I got to see you guys giving your heart to the very last second, and for that, I thank you and I appreciate you. Let's give him another hand. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I can put it on the screen. I think it's on the screen.
Aaron, can you pull up the next? Sorry, we weren't done with the hymn that go work, y'all. All right, thank you so much, all. And again, we'll close out the entire hymn that go award section as we continue with another awardee for our hymn duck award. And I'll share because I wasn't able to print, but we're acknowledging our remarkable community service by the Thanahatam Community College Apprenticeship Program. And this is a memo I wrote to the board and superintendent. Dear Superintendent Diaz and members of the governing board, it is with great pride and gratitude that I acknowledge the outstanding contributions of the TOCC Apprenticeship Program during the Indian Oasis Primary Campus's Love of Reading Month. Their dedication to fostering a love of literacy and education among our students exemplifies the values we hold dear in the Baboquivari Unified School District. The TOCC Apprenticeship Program brought their students to read to our young learners, creating an inspiring and engaging environment that celebrated the joy of reading. On multiple occasions, I had the privilege of witnessing them in action on site and personally thank the group for their presentations, which were delivered with such enthusiasm and spirit that they no doubt left a lasting impression on both students and staff. Their efforts not only supported our Love of Reading initiative, but also strengthened the bond between our school district and the broader community. In recognition of their remarkable service, I am moved to nominate their efforts for the Hymn Duck Award, which stands for healthy, inspiring, motivating, developing, achieving. Can you move down? Graduates. I know, but there's more to the memo. The TOCC Apprenticeship Program embodies these principles through their commitment to nurturing healthy minds, inspiring young learners, motivating students to reach their full potential, developing lifelong skills, achieving educational goals, and ultimately contributing to the success of future graduates. I urge the governing board and Superintendent Diaz to join me in celebrating the TOCC Apprenticeship Program for their exceptional community service and partnership. Their work is a shining example of how collaboration and dedication can make a profound impact on the lives of our students and the future of our community. Are there any representatives from TOCC? Miss Ernestine, please.
I'll just sit back. Yay, Ernestine.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much for your hard work.
I just ate
And
it.
what would you like for
You
your
got some?
picture? Thumbs up, number one.
Whatever.
All right,
Thumbs
we're
up,
gonna
I
do
guess.
thumbs up.
Okay.
Thumbs up it is.
Mr. Bates, can you go back to the item? I do want to also make sure to acknowledge and thank so much. During our Love of Reading Month, this was just a listing, a short listing of individuals. I'm sure there were many more, but I definitely did want to try and encompass the very fact that this is an important program. It does give a sense of connectivity to the students. They are so enthused. If ever you have an opportunity, please do take the time. Special shout out to Ms. Gabriela Casares Kelly, our Pima County Recorder's Office, TOCC President Derek Washington, is that his name? Steven Schoonmaker, sorry. TOCC Representative Shannon Ramon and Carlotta Chavez, Don Otham Fire Department, Miss Don Otham Nation, Chickasaw District Legislative Representative Delisa Ramon, again, our TOCC apprentices from electrical, carpentry, and plumbing, and their coordinator, Miss Ernestine Segundo. Community members, Michael Jose, Sonia Moreno, TUSD Angelica Salcido, as well as our partner from CBP who did read on the 14th, however, again, hasn't read since then. So just to note, and I wanted to especially acknowledge. Again, as I close out the Himdag Award and Students of the Month, it is always a very special part of our agenda, and I really, really am grateful. Please do, if you are able, grab a piece of cake. I think there's cake back there from our food service company. Otherwise, it is always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being a partner with us in setting the goal and assisting in your students achieving greatness. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. Have a good evening.
President Murillo,
Yes, sir.
I did notice that one member of the audience did not get up to get recognized as part of the Warriors and the achievement, and that was the AD. The AD did not come forward, so Mr. AD, please stand up. Athletic Director, thank you for all of your work and thank you for dedication and supporting us through all of the work. Want me to dismiss the families? But come up. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll go ahead and continue with the agenda. Our new number 3 this evening is our presentation from the Baboquivari Unified School District Foundation. Ms. Aguilar.
Good evening, Board President Buendia. Sorry. Good evening, Board President, Mr. Buendia, Superintendent. Did I say it right? It's been a while, I'm sorry. And board members and colleagues. I am here tonight, not in my regular capacity as the Director of Family Engagement, but as someone who's representing the Baboquivari Educational Foundation. As you see in the PowerPoint, there is some information about the foundation. It was created in January of 2015, and that was before I got to BUSD. A couple of questions that I had received were if the foundation could have members, and if you can see in Article 6, it states that the corporation does not have authorized members to it, and the Articles of Incorporation stated that the corporation shall be conducted by a board of directors. Currently, the board of directors are Mr. Diaz, who is the superintendent, myself, and Dr. Morris. Since Dr. Morris's retirement, she has been less involved, but she's also still on the board. The foundation was dormant from about 21 to 24 due to the pandemic, and the foundation is to provide we're dedicated to bridging funding gaps and providing essential resources that enrich educational experiences in our community. By partnering with local businesses, nonprofits, and donors, we ensure that students have the tools that they need to succeed. Our areas of support include grants and scholarships. As I said before, we're fairly new and we didn't have a lot of initiatives. However, I started working with a funder from the Jewish Community Foundation, and we were recently awarded a 5 $1,000 scholarships for for Baboquivari high school graduates. That's including our accelerated campus as well, and that will begin this year. I included the proposal that I sent to the donor, which includes the scholarship application, how we'll determine how the scholarship is dispersed and everything. So I included all that information for transparency reasons. And as you see on February 25th, I received a response from the donor. And like I said, they'll provide 5 $1,000 scholarships, what I'm really excited for. So part of the foundation scholarship program, it has the overview. And when I had written this, at the time, I was only thinking that we would do one $500 scholarship, so that has to be revised, which is a good thing because we'll have 5 $1,000 scholarships. So the eligibility criteria for the scholarship will be they have to be a recent graduate of BUSD, be of Native American descent, have a minimum GPA graduation of 2.5, and they have to be accepted into accredited college or a trade school. They will have to fill out the application, which is included, and they will be funded in July, I believe. The funds will be paid directly to the recipient's college or trade school. And the way we will select a recipient is they'll base it on academic achievement, their personal statement, and the commitment to their chosen field. The committee will consist of a BUSD school board member, a current BUSD teacher, and a representative of the Educational Foundation. The recipients will be notified by mail in August, and we will have a recognition ceremony for them. The application deadlines may change due to just getting approved and everything, so that application deadline might change a little bit. And I am in the process of creating a flyer so that we can have that ready for students to apply for the scholarship. Part of our foundation is also offering support to initiatives for the school. Currently, this past project that we had was supporting the 100 Day of School event, where we purchased 2 iPads, one for a teacher and one for a student, and I've included the receipts for that. And hopefully in the future, we can provide support for teachers to attend professional development, buy classroom supplies, and just support teachers in more ways. But like I said, this is a voluntary position, so I do as much as I can with the foundation. I also included, one of our huge things that we did was back in 2022, during the pandemic, I was awarded $10,000 to purchase supplies for our, I think it was Miracle on Main Street, and I included the receipt in that as well, and pictures from that event. That was the first year that we did laundry detergent for Christmas, and it was hugely appreciated by community members. And since then, I have been garnering donations for that for our community members, because they feel that, you know, laundry detergent and household supplies was really beneficial to the families. So that's what we've been doing. And like I said, based off of that, I approached the Cells community for laundry detergent, and they actually funded us this past December to purchase laundry detergent. So if you attended the Miracle on Main Street, thank you. If you attended the Miracle on Main Street this past year, you will see that we gave out laundry detergent then. And currently I'm working on capital improvements for the Sunrise House. I'm working with Mr. Roloff to get a quote so that we can get a brand new laundry room. I'm really excited because today I just found out that I was awarded a grant for 2 brand new washers and 2 brand new dryers from the casino. So it's part of a package over $50,000, and they approved it. So I'm really excited for that. So that will get our quote down even lower. But my hope is to remodel the Sunrise House because we we service thousands of people each month, and we just want to provide services for our families in the district because excuse me, we truly my goodness, we truly feel that our services are greatly needed in the community. So we want to be able to provide these services to our families without any delay and making sure that the clothes are washed and everything. So we had our second walkthrough with Mr. Roloff and about 5 contractors. So I appreciate Mr. Roloff for setting that up and getting the ball rolling. And as soon as I have the quotes, I'm going to be applying for several grants for that. I'm hoping to apply for the Diamondback grant, and the Food Bank of Southern Arizona also has a grant available that would provide funding for social justice programs, which this would be considered. So on the last page, it just gives you financial information. I talked to Ms. Carlisle, and she says this is the easiest way to do it in a spreadsheet. So thank you, Ms. Carlisle. I just put all of the dates of the deposit, the withdrawals, and the balances, and currently we have $355 in our account right now. So everything that goes into the account usually is already slotted for a project that we've already discussed, just like the iPads, the Tucson Jewish Foundation, because I'm going after specific grants. So we don't have any current donors that donate to our program yet. However, I'm hoping to focus more on that in the future because the foundation is a really good way to help fund programs that we're not able to do through the school district. So I appreciate your willingness and the opportunity to give you the information. I've tried to be as transparent as possible, and if you have any questions, I'm willing to go ahead and take any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hart. Any questions? Ms. Sylvia?
No, I was just wanting to make a comment. You're doing a terrific job in everything that it sounds like, you've been doing lately, and I know we've gotten some of the laundry soap, and that was really helpful and stuff. I did have a question because you talked about donations. Are we allowed to, or can we advertise that on the website? Like
No,
donor page or something? We
No.
can't?
That's one of my next projects that I'll be working on is to try to create a web page, but I have
Under
been
the
really
foundation?
swamped. Yeah, through the foundation.
Okay.
Since it's all volunteer time, I just have to it's the end of football season now for my son. So I'm gonna have more time on the weekends to work on the project, but it is my goal to go ahead and create a page for it so that we can go ahead and get get donors. But I have made really good connections with different people in the Tucson community, and part of my job during the day is to go ahead and attend more meetings in Tucson to get back into the community, because when I first came out here, I was really well connected into the community, and so that's how I met all of my partners. But it's my goal to start attending more community meetings, and I've also want to reach out to different organizations on the nation. I know that Native American Advancement Foundation is doing a lot of great things, and I know that if we partner with different nonprofits, we can double funding sources. So that's conversations that I'm having right now. And if you guys have any people that you think would want to donate to the foundation, just let me know and put me in contact with them. And we hope to build it. Like, I'm so excited about the scholarship program. I was thinking $500, and when she told me $5,000, I was just so excited. So I will be asking for your time to help us select a person. So, but I really do appreciate your time, and I apologize that I have to leave. It's just, I can't drive at night, so.
All right, I know, I see the sun going on. Let me quit. Let me be quick. I just really, really want to say thank you and echo what Ms. Sylvia had shared. I think that the importance of us being able I think it's important for us to highlight things that are really good for the community, and this is one of those things that I feel like can absolutely be great. One of the other things I want to make sure to put out there to the community, to the public, to all, is that while this is voluntary, it also means that it is open. I hope to anyone to be able to help speak, about it if ever we run into anybody. I know it's specific, it's different from the school, absolutely. But I really am just thankful for the presentation. Anything else from the board members?
But
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Sylvia.
I do remember when the foundation started, because I was on the board then, and it was really exciting to hear that, there was going to be more, funding available for students and families and whatnot. And I'm glad that it's being a big part of your program, because you do a lot for the community and the students. But I'm looking forward to your donor page, because I think it's a good thing, because I know that the college has a donor page, and we had a lot coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will work on that. And maybe I could do like just a update, at least make it like twice a year or something.
Yeah,
If you
and I
guys
think-
need that.
Yeah, because we haven't heard anything since.
Well, we were dormant. I have to say that during the pandemic, it was just, there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
so
see.
the nation was like really slow to open up. So I
Yeah.
didn't really do a lot, but I'm hitting the ground running and doing as much as I can now. But I appreciate your time.
That was a good point to make, Ms. Sylvia, and that's what I wanted to also make sure the public was aware of, is that we are trying to look at diversifying how we're helping not only the students, the teachers, but everyone else be successful. And I think it's important for that to be highlighted. So definitely thank you again. And I'm glad that we were able to request and you're able to put it together for us. Before I go, anybody else? No?
You're
Ms.
doing an
Vance?
amazing job, Ms. Hart. Thank you.
Ms. Jessica?
I just want to say the same thing, Aggie. You are doing an amazing job with everything that you've done to get the Sunrise House to the point that it is today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miguel.
Mr. Diaz.
President Medina, members of the board, members of the community. The reason I want to point out right now is to open up an invitation to all members of the community. This organization has a potential to have a huge impact to our students and staff. So I am putting a word out right now to the community. If you're the type of person that like to seek support, that like to connect, that like to be a partner, we're taking members in the foundation. We eventually would like to hand it over this organization to community members to help us run this organization and seek not only the funds, but continue to increase our partners. This is a foundation intended to help students, for the students, and for the school district. And if anyone is interested, please contact Aggie Hart or myself. That way we can give you more information on how to become part of the nonprofit Baboquivari organization. It'll be a great support, and you will be able to leave a footprint that it will last for many, many generations. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's actually there. We don't have members on the Articles of Incorporation state that we cannot have members, but we can add them to the board of directors.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Have a
Have
safe
a great
drive.
night.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you.
I'll continue with our agenda. Number 4, our new number 4 is the Baboquivari Unified School District Audit Report. Mr. Diaz or Carlo?
So, President Medina, members of the board, we would like to now also ask our CFO to come forward and help us answer any questions. But nevertheless, in front of you, you have the report. And Aaron, if you don't, oh wow. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. Can you guys hear me okay?
Take it away.
All right, good evening, members of governing board, administration. Thanks for taking the time to listen to the results for the fiscal year 23-24 audit results. I have a lot of positive information to talk about, so it's always great to do a presentation when you have positive information. There was 5 things within a packet that you should have gotten from the firm. One being the financial statement. That's the large document, around 100 pages. That includes our audit opinion. The second is what's called the single audit report. That's our report on the federal program, testing and internal controls. We have the with the financial statements, the large document. For this year, we were able to issue an unmodified opinion. So that's a clean opinion on the audit and the financial statements. That's an improvement from the previous year where the audit firm couldn't give an opinion. So there's a lot of additional work that we had to do on beginning balances to make sure that we could get comfortable and tie everything out to the district's records and how that reconciles back to the cash balances with the county school and everything. So a positive improvement on the audit opinion. Within the financial statements, we have three sections, which first is called the introductory section, which is just some brief information, which includes a letter of transmittal of the key highlights of what's going on within the district. Then we have the financial section, which includes all of the statements and then required supplementary schedules. Where I like to guide people to is if you want to read just a little bit of the financial statements, to read what's called the management's discussion and analysis. And that starts on page 4. And what that is, it gives you an idea of the significant changes and activity within the financial statements from the previous year to the current year. And that management's discussion and analysis is presented right after our audit opinion, where, like I said, we gave that unmodified opinion. And then if you go to the very back of that statement, around page 46, 47 is what's called the statistical section. And if you're looking for trending information, trends in revenues or balances, different types of operational information, statistics on capital asset information or teacher counts, that's where you'll see trending information of 10 years presented. So that's the first statement I wanted to talk about. The second is what's called the single audit report. And if you look at the cover, it's gonna show CWDL, and then it's gonna say single audit report right about the middle of the page. This is the report that we give on both internal controls and on federal compliance. And so for federal compliance this year, we were required to test 3 programs. We tested the Child Nutrition Cluster, the Title I program, and Impact Aid. Impact Aid obviously being the biggest program, it probably gets tested every year, but those other smaller programs get tested on a rotational basis. And within those federal programs that we tested, we did not have any findings this year, which again is an improvement over last year where we saw a couple of small compliance things that have been cleaned up in fiscal year 24 when compared to fiscal year 23. As far as internal controls, we did have one that we identified as a significant deficiency, and this is with the cash reconciliations and making sure the district's cash balances as presented within the financial statements are reconciled on a timely basis to both the county school superintendent.
Dennis, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Superintendent Diaz. It's really hard to hear you. I don't know if the microphone is away from you or you're speaking away from the microphone, but the audio is coming out a little bit from far away, making it hard to listen. Can we try something on your end? Because we try everything on our end.
Is that a little bit better?
It's worse. Let's try that one more time, Dennis.
I said, is that a little bit better? I'm trying to increase the volume.
It's fine. You can continue. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'll just talk a little bit louder, I guess. As I was saying, in the internal control communication, we did have one finding as it related to making sure cash reconciliations are being done on a timely basis. And again, we're looking at previous year's information. We've talked with management, and we know that this is had been corrected for fiscal year 24-25, and these reconciliations are being done on a timely basis. The third report is the USFR compliance questionnaire. That's a 26-page yes and no questionnaire that we need to fill out on an annual basis. There were some things we have in there, compliance findings. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I know that the district has gone through a performance audit in the past year and a half or 2 years as well. So some of these things are carry forward and obviously things that have been corrected going forward into fiscal year 24-25. And certainly I can answer any questions that anyone has on those items. But again, that's the compliance questionnaire checklist of questions we need to answer. And they're specifically yes or no. So we're not giving an opinion on things like we would internal control procedures. These are, again, just a questionnaire put out by the Auditor General's office that we submit. And like I said, the last document is what's called the governance communication. This is just a mandatory communication that we need to present to governance to let you know that we're independent, that we had no disagreements with management or difficulties entered during the accounting process. So those are the four things that have been included and that I wanted to go over today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the board for the audit report? No questions?
No questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. We really appreciate it and all the work that you have done. Mr. Diaz or Ms. Carla, anything to add before we move on? If not.
I just want to say thank you to all of the directors and principals because there was a lot of documentation that needed to be provided. And also I want to thank to our business office. It's taking a lot of work and a lot of energy to be able to bring us back to speed. And I want to thank also the auditors that they've been collaborating with us for all of, and slowly but surely turning this around. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue with this evening's agenda. Number 5 is the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board Financial Report. Ms. Clementina Carlisle.
Which one did you want?
Good evening, President. President Buendia, governing board members, Superintendent Diaz, and everybody here. Attached, I hope you had an opportunity to review the fiscal year 2025 expenditures through February the 26th because we had an early board meeting. The other one, Aaron, expenditures.
Big report.
It's the first one. I'm sorry. No, that's a mess.
Second one.
Yeah. So I've highlighted areas in yellow that have negative budget balances. That doesn't mean we have negative cash. The grants that have negative balances will be updated accordingly. We will either move expenditures around or update the budget as we get information from ADE. And the other one was for SFB, and we just need to update that information. That's a cash-controlled account, so we can't really pay anything out until we get approval from SFB. And that's Fund 691. Overall, 76.96% of the budget for all funds have been expended, and that includes encumbrances, leaving a budget balance of 23.04%. The average percentage for expenditures through February is 66.67%, and without encumbrances, BUSD has spent 39.38% of the budget. Are there any questions?
Ms. Sylvia Hendricks.
No, could you explain again about the impact date, why we're in the negative?
So the budget is the goal that we were wanting to spend, and we're overspending. So we're going into what we were trying to save. So that's the budget. It's not the cash.
Oh, okay.
So we've overspent our budget. And I'm leaving it that way for now.
Okay.
I can increase it. The cash is there, but we just want to show what we had originally wanted to budget and just that we've overspent in that area.
That's good.
And then we never heard from the company that that was supposed to be reimbursing us.
The lawsuit is still on work
Pending.
in progress. weekly communication item. There's a chronology on the, of where we are in the process.
We're ways from
It's
getting it
still gonna
settled.
be, this is lawsuits that don't happen. They're never quick enough. Gary's still looking into different areas, and he's providing us every time he has a new update. But at this point, it's still work in progress.
Because did that come out of impact aid?
It did.
Mhm.
It did.
Okay.
I think it was a prior year, though it's not a current year
Yeah, there wouldn't be this
expenditure.
year impact.
Yeah.
Okay. No, might you? Club counts and balances.
Okay.
Questions?
The next one is the student activities there. Thank you.
Wait, before you start,
Yes.
can we, and do you, and have you shared if any, if we've had any impacts based on the current standing in Washington, whether anything's been frozen, or are we looking at any funds that we're not gonna get? And I'm sure you would tell us right away. but-
Yes, I haven't heard anything. I think everything's up in the air right now. I think we have received the bulk of our funding for impact aid for this year.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean anything going forward. You might find something out when you all go to NAFIS. So
Okay.
we're hoping to hear from you and see if there's anything new, but it's craziness right now.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's very scared.
No, no.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're open and speaking about that. It is on our radar, and if anything, we're in the same boat as everyone else about
We
how
are.
it's gonna
It's
go.
it's a scary situation, especially with grants, and Title I's a big one, and there's
Yeah.
employees that are funded from there. So, yeah, we're trying to be as conservative as possible.
I think it's also my hope, which is why I'm considering. I mean, I'm open to us looking at revenue streams that we could maybe look at other ways of trying to continue what we're doing. Because again, I think if we approach the nation on a finance standpoint, we want to make sure we're saying, well, we're trying to do everything we can, and if at some point.
And who knows how the nation's going to be impacted
Very
as
true.
well. So we're kind of all in the same boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, Miss Sylvia.
Yeah, this, in that line, I guess, more or less, we have federal fundings, and those are the areas, I guess, that we're kind of concerned about at this point.
And they're the bigger
The bigger ones, yeah.
funding revenues. So
Yeah, especially the, I guess we'll find out
impact aid,
next week.
Title I. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you haven't heard anything? No.
Okay.
We're all praying.
I know.
Yeah. I'll go, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and,
Okay.
students.
So for the fiscal year 2025, student activities auxiliary balances through 2025, had an ending balance of, let me see, $113,992.06. There was deposits totaling $2,391.69 in the month of February from the rodeo and fair event and basketball concession sales. There was a transfer of $951 from boys basketball to girls basketball club. And there was an increased balance of $2,391.69 from the prior month. The Student Auxiliary Fund had deposits totaling $2,304.31 from the basketball admissions, and there were disbursements of $774.31 for BHS supplies and BMS basketball game officials. The ending balance for the student auxiliary account on February the 28th was $5,597.88. Are there any questions?
That transfer from the boys to the girls was just, do you know what it was?
It was to cover some of the expenses that the girls' basketball team was having.
Okay.
Since they went a little bit further, we're having a little bit more
Right.
expenditures.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
thank you so much. Any other questions for the student balances? Okay, thank you, Ms. Carla.
Thank you.
Look at my new agenda. All right. Our number 6 this evening, new number 6 is the BUSD tracking teacher proficiency. Mr. Diaz? Or however you want to present it.
President Buendia, members of the board, and members of the community. There was a board request, and this is one of the items, and this is an update. I want to ask our, let me see, can you open it up? That the next one, the new. We're gonna go. We can start with the primary, and then we'll jump into intermediate, and then the secondary. One of the requests that we had on the table, it was how do we monitor student learning, and also how do we monitor teachers' progress, and specifically what is the system in place. So each school, they have put together a little summary of. I asking for a one pager to be able to show what is the system in place, so we can not only let the community know and continue to build capacity among one another. So at this point, with your support, may I please have the welcome back Ms. Enriquez, our principal for our primary school. Let's give her another hand. Let's encourage her. The night is young. Thank you, Ms. Enriquez.
All right, good evening, President Bonilla, governing board members, Superintendent Diaz. I have submitted a memo on tracking student and teacher proficiency. Did you all have an opportunity to read it? Good. Any questions?
We did. I just didn't want to miss if there was anything you wanted to make sure to kind of encompass. I know one pager is one pager, but if there's anything you want to include or add.
No, and I think for the most part, they're pretty much the same district-wide, and they can correct me if I'm wrong when they come up. But a lot of it has to do not only with just like paper, pencil, online assessments, but it's those observations that we're making on students. I put that under tracking student proficiency is we see them all over the school, and it helps us to track their overall behavior, social interactions, and engagement. And I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of the times we forget, and we only focus on their test results, but we also need to see the child as a whole. We need to look at the bigger picture on, are there reasons why they're not proficient in certain areas? What's going on, like I said, with them socially? We try to take into consideration like what their home life is like. So that's the one thing that I really wanted to point out.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I think it's important, especially when the question is posed, and I feel like it's not again to put you guys on the spot, but I want the community and any of the stakeholders to understand that these are the steps that we're taking to try and ensure we're not just looking at those types of, the statistics. It's the child, it's the whole. And so they're definitely grateful for you guys being able to put this together. Any other questions from the board based on primary? Mr. Diaz?
Not a question, President Medina, but I would like to also bring to your attention what are the three components that I'm looking for, or that I want our governing board to hold us accountable. It is the system. What is the system? Are we presenting and are we showing that we know the needs? Can we identify the needs? And also, are we showing that we're pushing and in providing the strategies needed? And last is how do we monitor that the system is working or not? So as you review all of the presentations or what our principals have provided, I want you to look at how they not only monitor, but they're looking at how are we going to be able to identify what the students need, and are we going to be able to provide professional development for all the teachers so they can be successful. And the last one, what are we going to do when the students they get it or they're not? So as Ms. Enrique said, throughout the whole district, you're going to see something similar, and that's part of the systematic approach as well. Yes. So thank you, Ms. Enriquez, for putting this together. Any other comments or questions from the cabinet board? Thank you, Ms. Enriquez. And Ms. Miguel Lewis, I know this segment of your presentation, it is within her principal's report, Erin. So if you don't mind opening her principal report, there's one section in her principal report that talks about her system in place to monitor student progress and teacher progress.
Good evening, President Buendia, board members, and Superintendent Diaz. So district-wide, we do follow pretty much the same thing as Ms. Enriquez had mentioned. So on mine, it's pretty much the background of how it looks. So usually you may not see every little thing that's happening on our campus. And so this kind of lays it out of the steps of how we start teaching a lesson using BT, and then using our models of instruction and our BT calendar to help us decide what we are teaching. On the top, please. Right where it has the arrows. And so there's just one example of a data tracking sheet that I believe all of us use. I think all campuses use them. So after a teacher teaches a standard or a grade level teaches a standard, they take a DFA 1, and then based off of the DFA 1, they look at the results and see where the students are struggling. They dissect the data and see how can they create a better effective intervention for those students. And so they go through an intervention class. They split the students among the teachers as well as one specialist teachers that they are able to utilize for interventions. And then you see a big progress where the first DFA, only 52% of the students passed, but then when they did the interventions, 86% of the class was able to be proficient in that particular standard. So this is just the background of how it may look. So, but I believe all the schools do the same thing. That's it.
One of the things that I think generally kind of prompted the question, especially was some of definitely the reporting from the month for intermediate campus and some of the concerns based on the proficiency levels and where they're at, what they're doing. So I definitely want to make sure, I would say for myself, just being able to observe some of it in action, to be able to see, and that'll take me taking the time to be able to sit at one of your PDs and just observe, and not to critique, but just so that I'm able to kind of take it in and understand, because I understand as well, having students at intermediate is also an added level of, and across all of our campuses. I'm not saying that it's just intermediate, but all of our campuses have behavior issues that have a lot of different things that kind of are out of your hands. But I think in particular, one of the things that we want to try and curb or assist in is finding the balance, I think, especially. It's important, and I feel like as we're moving our schools, letter grades and so on and so forth, I also am prompted when I hear families and or community members have real concerns about where their student is and how they're being treated. And I'm not saying that anyone is doing anything wrong, but I think in their mind and their perception is that some students are, and it is, you do get a lump sum of who's taking all the tests. You know what I mean? And then everybody's else, it kind of shifts everything else to a degree, whereas you will always have students that aren't faring as well, that kind of fall into the weeds of it all. So my hope is that there's a clear system in place that we're definitely giving our best to each of the students, so that we're not kind of looking at just those that are actually succeeding and are proficient, but also addressing those that aren't and still need all that extra help. In addition to that they're ready to move on to the next grade, and as they're leaving intermediate to middle school, 7th, 8th grade. So that's the only reason I wanted the presentations from each of the schools. I understand. I think that as a board, we are able to see by participating in the school site visits, the amazing work, I'll say wholeheartedly, by everyone trying to put in place what needs to be done to not only support students, but teachers. So I think it's good to see this information. And now that we have it and we know, and we can kind of be prompted for questions as a board, I hope that we're starting to look at those types of things as we're looking at reports and really gauging, asking those questions if necessary. So thank you so much for that. Anything else from the board?
And the main action happens during our professional learning community meetings.
Oh.
So that's when the grade levels meet twice a week, and then they go over data. So that's where they really ask themselves, like, what are my strengths as a teacher? What are my weaknesses as a teacher? And coming up with interventions. So interventions is like the students who score highly proficient, like who are all by the different proficiency levels, and then they get placed into an intervention class by their proficiency level. And so our highly proficient students, they usually go with our specials teachers, and that's where it's more excelling standard. They're still teaching the standard, but it's more excelling. So, and then the students who are not performing, then they go with the teacher that had the class that performed, I guess, more better, or have higher students who performed in the highly proficient, then that teacher teaches those students. So then we can get more students to pass.
No, I understand. I mean, I can see, I can envision. One of the things I really like is that you are very active in providing some form of either development or training or anything for much of your staff. My hope, though, is that we're finding individuals who are very good at, and I know you're looking at those things, that and open to learning and being taught and being coachable, I guess is the word. And then really addressing whether or not some individuals are just not able to be coachable, to say it kindly. I think it's important that we're also looking at those things across the board. So it's one of the reasons I want to be able to say, well, we've been able to see what you're doing or what should be done. Where's the product? Where's the where is it getting better? So that's my hope, and I hope that we're equipped now with some information so we can start to look at that a little bit more.
Yeah, and then when you come to our walkthroughs, that's where you get a better understanding of our scores, because we don't share all of our DFA scores, and then you can, in the DFA scores, you can see some progress.
I think especially in my experience, the students themselves are kind of responsible for seeing where they are. And so they kind of have an idea of, okay, I didn't do well here. And I see, they're basically showing where they're scoring, what they're falling behind in and all that. So I think it's really good. I think it's also important, again, to see some successes. And I don't mean that in any way other than I think we're trying a lot. I just want to see if maybe there's something you want to think of for the next school year that maybe will be a lot different. I know that pulling the students from putting them in different areas with different strengths and weaknesses, maybe that does have some success. I just want to be open to the fact that you have a school to run and maybe there's a different way or means. I know primary has done the same thing with changing who's teaching what, so that where their strengths are, they feel really good and they'll be able to do it. But my hope is that we can get more of that across the board. So just some food for thought. I'm just I'm putting it out there.
Thank you.
I know you got it. All right. If that's it for intermediate.
Monitoring teacher progress. Monitoring teacher progress, I think, is the next section.
So on the proficiency monitoring on the bottom, so that just gives a brief snapshot of the teachers, the admin, the students, and the families, and how that everybody has a role in making sure that our students are successful. So.
Oh, beyond textbooks is BT.
Yes.
Sorry, acronyms and everything else. Okay, BT. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Now let's give it up for Ms. Constance, our principal at high school. You got this, Sanse. Miss Sanse.
Yay. Okay. Hello again to Board President Buendia, Board members, Superintendent Diaz, and everyone else who's still here. Oh, wrong one. It's back at
I need to go back.
Back at
number
the-
7. Yeah. Thank you. And if you take a look at this one, this one's very similar to the one Ms. Enriquez has. The difference is I know she has a lot more with the behavior and observations, I think is part of student proficiency, and that's one we see less at the high school level. And unfortunately, it's because at the high school level, it's all about the grades. We know you're struggling at home, we can get you to the SEL people, but we can't do anything as far as your grades because you still have to pass the classes. So that's kind of the reason why that with the student proficiency is a little different. We can get you the support you need, and that's tracked through our online system, and we are fortunate this year that we have a behavioral support specialist and a counselor, and I know we're missing that for a couple of years, just college and career counselor. If anyone knows anyone, here's my plug, please tell them to apply. But that's where we're going with that, and it's just tracking that. This year with Beyond Textbooks and our standards base, we're really focusing on those standards to try and like get them before they get really behind. And that's kind of where our push is there. In the past, if we waited for those summative assessments, we waited until the end of the quarter or the end of the semester to realize they were behind. But we're actually pushing those formative assessments, so we're checking more frequently. The progress being made is becoming more visual, and we can see that because we've been tracking those DFAs from the beginning. But that's kind of how we're tracking that proficiency. Last year, based on the district benchmarks as well as like the AASA, which 7th and 8th graders do, it was very aligned. So we were able to see if they scored this well on the benchmark, they passed on the AASA. So they were aligned last year. So that's kind of why our hope's there, with allowing us to see where our kiddos are gonna be testing. But that's kind of how we're tracking that student proficiency. And then as far as our teacher proficiency, we're tracking that through our observations, our professional development, and our formal evaluations. Receiving feedback on what the teachers need and where they feel like they can grow is where we're really at. And just because I heard you mention this to Ms. Biguet-Lewis, we've seen trends, and as I've told people, I'm playing chess now with the people we have on campus in the sense that I see your strengths here, let's go ahead and move you here, because I think your weight, with how strong you are, we can start you off here. So that's where we're going for next school year.
Great.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, comments? Thank you for providing the comment at the end about what I asked her. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it.
Moving right along, that's it.
Okay. All right, we'll slide right into our next item on the agenda, which is the Baboquivari High School District Principal Reports. Ms. Enriquez.
Please help me welcome Miss Enriquez. Musical chairs today.
Good evening again, Governing Board. Mr. Diaz, I have submitted the principal's report in writing. I hope you've had an opportunity to read it. Our list for our love of reading has increased since I did submit it to Ben at his request last week. So we had so many more community members come out on Thursday and Friday to read to the kids. You'll see it in our board video. There was just so many that came out. The kids love having guests in their classrooms. So if you're listening, it's not just 1 month. Come and read anytime throughout the year. Unfortunately, our attendance did suffer this past month. The day after rodeo was huge. A lot of kids did not come to school. And we've seen Fridays, a lot of kids and families aren't taking Fridays as an important day to be in school. So we've seen our attendance drop drastically on Fridays. So Friday is still a school day, so please bring your kids to school on Fridays. And then thank you to Lalo and the staff from the HOP. He always comes out and does a Healthy Heart Fun Run on Valentine's Day. The kids had a great time running around. They just ran around the campus, but I know you were there, Mr. Buendia, and they had a really good time. So Aaron, if you could play our video.
Pete's friends all arrived. It was time to build a perfect pizza together that would make the pizza even better. Pete thought the perfect pizza would be pepperoni with extra cheese. You hungry? It's a party, a party.
I'm teacher Jen, teaching Filipino kids for 22 years already. With me are my 15 learners who are so eager to see you kids, American kids. Wave your hands to our Filipino kids here. Hey, thank you very much, Teacher Alma. West City Elementary School is the biggest elementary school in Dumaguete City. It has 3,500 learners with 101 teachers. So imagine how big our school is, starting from kindergarten to grade 6. Now, this afternoon, my kids will be teaching you how to say English expressions into Filipino language. Now, Filipino is the national language of the Philippines. So let's get started. Eliza, please say the first expression.
In English, we say good morning, but in Filipino, we say magandang umaga. I repeat, magandang umaga. Kids, magandang umaga. Dinosaur with an egg and bones. And bones. And that one. That one. And that's a you can't that dumb. You call it dumb. Then find us. Say it after before. First say the word and then jump on it. Use. I didn't believe in ghosts until I got home and there my door opened. There was a door. It was a ghost door. I went to ask him away that night. I saw him again. He was in my heart. He was there.
Questions for Principal Enriquez? Amazing. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Let's give it up for Ms. Bigay Lewis, please. Let's welcome back.
Good evening. So the only thing that I would like to add is that about our attendance, we did have 65 students who were out after the rodeo. So this is our lowest attendance rate since the beginning of the year. So we will push to try and get more students to come to school, but that was the only thing that was our biggest struggle for this month.
should make
We have to
Monday
review the calendar.
the day off rather than Friday.
There's a few, President Mundia, members of the board, there's a few learnings from this year that we can use the calendar to our favor. I think we may have to come back and bring it to the board for review based on the lessons we learned this year.
Yeah, I agree.
You can play the video.
Think that the run is Y and the jump is Z.
Right, our lesson yesterday to identify the X, Y,
Y is vertical. So this one's going to have yours. This one's going to be. SFA helps us in our reading skills. We love SFA.
Okay, what is the point of view? Ask your partner, what is the point of view on this?
It has you and yourself. I'm looking forward to it.
And you're writing your answers, I want to see them in your, okay? I see good.
For example,
Good job.
Oh, I'm so what is your
my head, my mouth.
Thank you, Ms. Peggy Lewis. Questions for intermediate? If not, thank you so much for the presentation, your report.
Thank you.
Next one, Ms. Constant. Let's give it up for Ms. Constant, please.
Hello again.
Welcome back.
So our school highlights. Our Lady Warriors made it to the Elite Eight of the state playoff. The number of incidents on the middle school side has lessened. That's a big win for us because we've been working on behaviors with everyone and we have had fewer incidents at middle school. Our juniors and seniors did attend the open house at TOCC, and they also went to the Pima Community College for a college visit in the month of February. And number 4, Mr. Meese was honored at the U of A men's basketball game. I know Mr. Diaz mentioned it. There were more than 35 applicants, and he was one of 9 who was selected. So just know that it was not just one of 9. So, but he was honored on Wednesday, and then that's it. If you have any questions, obviously ask.
Write it down there. For the boys, the most and the least.
Hold on, this is.
What is the most for the boys? Most favorite ice cream.
What did she say for the boys?
Are you gonna write it down? For the boys, the most.
For the
and what's the least?
boys.
Clear?
Basketball team?
For the boys, the
most. For the boys, the most. For the boys, the most.
Mode of transportation.
The most favorite sport was?
Write it down. How about grade level?
What's your favorite? Favorites.
Write it down now.
How do you spell favorites right there? Sport. Oh yeah. Sport.
Favorite school.
Basketball.
So, you're gonna write it down. This is categorical data.
And how do you know it was basketball?
Subject is a categorical.
Because it has
Subject.
Highest number,
Yeah,
right?
how about
Nice,
grade level?
okay, gotcha.
basketball.
How to find the missing angles on triangles. Every triangle is gonna add up to 180. This little square means 90. So be 180 minus 90 minus 40, and then you will get what this is.
Okay,
Just X.
so for this one, so we're 180 minus 90, we're down to 90, and 90 minus 40 is, what'd you get?
It's 50.
I agree, I like it.
And then
Thank you, Ms. Once. Questions for secondary campus? Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you. And let's give it up for Mr. Villanueva. He's going to redeem himself with a video today, right?
Okay, good evening again, President Buendia, BSD board members, and Superintendent Diaz. Highlights for the month this year, we did have our senior pictures taken for our students who are on track to graduate, so that was pretty exciting. We took, just like the secondary school, went to the TOCC to learn about college life, and that was a lot of fun. We have 2 of our students on playing basketball, so one's a high school student and the other one's a middle school student, so unique. Hendricks is a freshman, part of the girls basketball team. She actually played and got to score in a state playoff game, which is great to watch. And then Ernesto Vega helped the middle school boys team win the middle school tournament championship at the TO High School. This week we had 3 of our students volunteer to help unload and organize the food items at the Sunrise House. A hiking club took a field trip to the Desert Museum. Mesa Club had a successful field trip to the U of A. And then this week is we started perfect attendance week for our students. We had 7 students who were rewarded for perfect attendance for the week of the 18th through the 21st. One thing as well, our girls basketball team were honored by having the best sportsmanship in the AIA of 1A division for the entire state of Arizona, which was great. I know that they had their little plaque and they were holding it during the team picture. So that's a great honor because not every school can do that. It just shows the hard work and the great coaching and everything that's going on at the secondary school and with our coaches and teams. So that was awesome. I wanted to bring that up as well. So we can play the video. Where's the music? I swear I put music to this.
Music starts, I think.
Yeah, it starts in a little bit.
Okay.
It starts soon.
Let's go, ladies! All right, big win tonight, big win tonight. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it tonight, let's go. Wow, look at the movie star.
Consider yourself redeemed. No, amazing. Thank you so much for highlighting. What are you doing for your students of the month? Are you doing anything like for your students? Perfect attendance.
Perfect attendance. So I call it rewards. I don't call it snacks. But what I do is I go to Costco and I buy a big old box of snacks.
Oh.
And it was nice seeing the kids getting excited about just coming into my office the first week. And they got to choose their snack. And then it was really cool watching them allow me to take a picture for them or of them, you know, because some of the students are extremely shy and they're just like even more camera shy, but they actually had a good time doing it. One of my students was like, I wasn't ready today. Can I take the picture tomorrow? So she came in and got done up the following day. And she didn't forget. First thing in the morning, she stopped at my office. I'm ready for my picture. So, which was good. So it's exciting. So the second week again, kids came in and they were excited to choose a different snack, you know. It's a snack, but it's a reward. And I call it a reward, and they're taking it as a reward.
I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you for taking that extra, going that a little bit extra for them. I feel like absolutely the way that the video is being structured now really highlights what I feel like those students do need is that boost of like you're doing a really good job.
And we have so many great students at the school. I've been there a month now. It feels like I've been there a lot longer, but it's been a month. And I've met some incredible kids, and you're absolutely right. They need the positive, they need the excitement, they need everything else that every other school has in this state, you know. And so I'm working really hard to provide that structure and just encourage them every single day. I fist bump all the time. I walk into the classrooms to check in just to see how their day's going and things like that. I do have kids who have come into my office to take a chill break because they need to take a break from their schoolwork or maybe they're stressed out. And I also have a little punching kind of, not a punching bag, but a punching, I don't even know what you call it, but they'll come back in there and punch it out for about 4 or 5 minutes and head back to class. So I'm trying to give every outlet possible as well. So, and the kids are following along. Last meeting, you guys saw the rules that we implemented at the schools. And I think that has been great. Of course, we got some pushback at the beginning, but now every student uses the hall pass to leave class, to use the restroom, and they got 5 minutes, you know, to go up and back. And they're realizing that, you know, we're bringing some good structure for them. And I feel that it's only been a month, but you can start to see the changes already, so, which is good.
The other thing I wanted to mention, and thank you, in the report, I noticed you guys, and again to your staff and everyone that are doing as much as you can, you have after-school tutoring, what days?
Monday and Thursdays. And then we have Mesa Club on the opposite day.
Okay.
Monday, Thursday tutoring, Tuesday, Wednesday, Mesa Club. And those kids are staying after school. And I mean, we have 15 students staying after school for math tutoring, which is awesome. And
great.
Shout out to Ms. Garcia and Mr. Alvarez, because they're putting in their time, and the kids, it gives them something positive to do after school, which is great.
100% agree. Thank you so much for offering it, and to your staff again, or to our teachers there. I know it's a lot, and so I thank them as much as you can. I know whenever I see them, I will as well. Anything else from the board for Accelerated Campus Report? Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next item on your agenda is the Baboquivari Unified School District Sites Tax Credit Updates. Mr. Diaz or Miss Come back? Yeah, Miss Enriquez.
President Buendia, members of the board, this is also a board request. By presenting it today, we also fulfilling that request.
Thank you.
Aaron?
Mr. Bates, you can open the primary campus.
Right, that one, yeah. Okay, so good evening again. Primary currently has $56,702.16. As I mentioned at the bottom, to note that tax credit donations are not guaranteed to replenish annually. So I do try to use whatever is available that I'm not sure how much I'll get the following year. So that's why I always look at other resources. So that way, if I do need it, it's there and we can utilize it. But for the remainder of the year, all grade levels have signed up to go to the symphony in April and May. We have pre-K field trips. So the top part, are the designated funds. So we do have funds for the symphony, pre-K field trips. They usually take them to the zoo, and then we let them get lunch there. They're so excited because they get to go through the little line and carry their own little trays. Kindergarten, first grade, chapter books, and second grade. And then the undesignated funds we are utilizing for third grade state testing snacks, end of year field day items, such as they won, the students were able to turn in so many read and responds for the second quarter challenge. They got it, they're gonna put me in a dunk tank. So we decided to wait till the end of the year to do that. And then the jumping castles. Our ESS team wants to take our students in the self-contained classroom to Wildcats, which has a lot of sensory opportunities for them. So they signed up for that. The Desert Museum, the Children's Museum. They tried to get the Flandreau Planetarium, but it is all booked for the year, so they're going to try to save that for next year. We're noticing a lot of our playground equipment needs replenishing, so we're going to look into purchasing items for that. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
No, but I do want to point out, and again, just for the sake of, and I apologize for making us get up and over again, but I didn't want anything to fall into an overall report and not be able to be highlighted, because I think this is important to know, but especially to show what we're doing and the extra and offset to help our students be successful and to give them something that actually be beneficial, which I think much of what you do is always is, but there's those parts that we can't do that these help to do, and so I want it there to be just some highlights. So I appreciate you taking the time, and again, everybody for playing musical chairs with us.
No worries.
Intermediate, Ms. Begay-Lewis.
Good evening. So we have $16,245.48. We basically use it just for the ASA testing for snacks, and then we are in the process of ordering more books for the library, and then for our field day at the end of the year. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? No? If not, thank you so much, Ms. Begay-Lewis.
Hello. So these are just some of the items we used the funds for. So obviously approved through a site council. Our tax credits have paid for cross-country meets. It actually pays for all trying to remember. It pays for most of the cross-country meets because cross-country is not a club that generates income. They don't have food sales. When students don't pay their activity fees, we don't have any money to pay for the meet, so that's kind of why it pays for that. It paid for the Wilo Band entertainment on Babo Day, baseball and softball consumables, refreshments for our awards assemblies. If you've been to our awards assemblies, you know we have a little refreshment time. That's what it's paid for. Our testing snacks, that's going to be coming up. We're going to make a big trip to Costco soon. Hotel stays for state playoffs is what we were going to actually use to pay for that. Our PBSI rewards, we have started with PBIS this year. We're starting to get up, and similar to Mr. V, we're going to start our rewards with some tangible snacks, and then sashes for Ms. Waukiwak. Sorry.
Good job.
There
Good
you
job.
go.
Good job.
Thank you.
Any questions for secondary?
Do you
Miss
have the
Sylvia?
amount?
There's not an amount up there, but it's because there's two different campuses. So I just didn't put it up there because there's the two different campus amounts, but I know it's on the
It is in the last.
last month's
agenda.
board meeting, yeah.
That's why I asked for what they.
Yeah, and because the site council meets as one and it collectively works as one, but then there's the two accounts, it just would have taken a little longer on paper for me to do. I'm not a mather.
And I appreciate, because I know I said spend it, but I appreciate that you guys actually do have a clear path on what you plan and what you like to do with it. But again, I also want to make sure we're impressing on seeking more if we can. But again, I guess that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is a separate item with the foundation. But nonetheless, if there are no other questions for secondary campus, thank you so much, Ms. Onse.
Okay, thank you.
That'll conclude the item for the tax credit updates. Next is our Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board member reports. Are there any reports for this evening?
I can do one.
Ms. Vance?
On February 12th, I did do the Baboquivari High School, Baboquivari Middle School site visit. On February 25th, Ms. Hart had invited me to attend the beautiful event at the intermediate school for the young ladies. And And then on February 26th, I did attend the recognition at the U of A game for Mr. Neese.
Hecky. That's
Short, sweet, to the point.
it. Thank you, Ms. Vance. Anything, Ms. Sylvia or Ms. Anna? Good.
I think the only thing I was able to attend this month, or past month, is the meeting with the legislative council body, or what they
Ms.
call it.
Sander.
With the chair of the legislative council, vice chair, representative from the, what office is
The
that?
lease.
The lease, in regards to the lease. And I think we're asked to attend the next, is it gonna be on the agenda for the next council meeting? They encourage that we attend it, only because it has to do with the lease and the lease that they're wanting to do with us in regards to their getting their location set up. They have already purchased the building, they just have to get it approved. So, and I'm assuming it'll come to us at some point, or have we approved that already?
If the plan is to talk about it, we haven't gotten anything to consider.
We don't have a date right now in which they're going to have a meeting. There's a couple of moving pieces in place, including meetings with our districts regarding our or master lease. So that particular outcome is to be determined based on when the next meeting will be.
Well, I think to the point of what she reported.
I think also because they moved forward, but didn't consider of people that could have been part of that planning, I guess, and one in particular was us. Which, they in turn tried going back and trying to get it, because that was council's question. Why aren't these people at the table? And so that's why I guess they caught this meeting. But there's more to come forward.
So one of the things I will say is if we are asked to come to any meeting, the board wouldn't be able to provide, because we could only address it as we are here now as a board. So whether we're for or against, they're not allowing us the opportunity to actually make a comment because they haven't provided us with anything to say yes or no to. So I would say if they're asking us to be somewhere, I don't think that there's anything that the board can say that would be in support for or against, unless we've been given that opportunity to be able to discuss it truthfully.
I guess my question is, in regards to the lease, how was the lease worked out with TOCC in regards? I mean, did that have to go through, I know it came through us, through the board, but did that, yes.
It was a sublease, so we leased the land to the nation, and then Gary wrote, well, probably Gary originally, but one of our lawyers wrote the sublease for that, and then approved by the board and the nation.
Jessica, can you turn your mic on and point it towards him just a little bit? Because sometimes when he's speaking, we can't hear him.
It was a sublease between TOCC and BUSD that was approved by both entities and the nation to go ahead and use that for the school facilities. Now, they want to come in, and I think what they were trying to do, and my understanding from that meeting is they just wanted to go to legislative and use that land without inviting BUSD, because I think the statement was it's the nation's land. So that's when they got kickback at the Legislative Council, and they go, wait a minute. And they required them to go to the steps to come meet with us, and did invite Mr. Diaz to the next meeting, but we won't know until we get an invite on that.
And then on top of that, I wasn't aware of that our lease needed to be renewed.
Yeah.
Which I guess is obviously being worked on now, because it has been needed to be renewed quite a few years ago.
How? which, yeah, I don't really want to get into the weeds, but I agree. Thank you for being there and reporting that that was,
I, you know, I want to support them as much, but it kind of, I was kind of disturbed in the point that when they started, they never brought us to the table,
right.
which obviously should have been done, you know, because as he stated that it got kicked back when they tried to just take it to council and get it, you know, passed. So, okay.
Right. Miss Anna?
I just wanted to say I was looking forward to going to Mr. Meese's recognition. I'm really sad that I couldn't have been there. I did attend the level reading event on February 28th. I went to go read to Mr. Priano's class. It was adorable. I enjoyed it. I wish I could have read more books to them. They had so many questions for me, but thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Anna. I think you stepped out, Miss Jessica. I don't know if you have anything you want to report. Okay. I just want to say, I just want to continue to impress on the staff and everyone. I was able to attend as much of the student activities, as in basketball, that I could, as well as participate in love of reading and then welcoming and then all of those really great things that we were able to do as board members and as community members and as part of the overall effort to support what you all are doing. So I just leave it at that. I think that I've been trying to be available as much as possible. I do want to try and impress on the board members, my fellow board members. The I think so, and I don't mean to make our meetings this way. I'm just speaking as a report, but I know I've been asking to pull and put things like on the agenda like separate from reports, so that it's hopefully catching your eye or we're able to see it and it's not buried into any kind of report. But feel free again as board members, if there's something that you want to make sure is addressed as you're reviewing the board agenda, please let Ben or Mr. Diaz know, or myself, but either way, so that we're able to address it. So, and again, don't mean to put anyone on the spot as far as how the reports are being requested or y'all are being asked to get up and down. But I just really want to make sure that we're going through much of what we need to do as the board. And again, reason for pulling some of the items that I did pull with the approval of the board is so that we can give it more time, more effort, more attention. I don't want it to just kind of be as we are now, going through a full-on agenda. Not that we're not giving it the time and due diligence. I just want to make sure that that's kind of how it's expressed, so y'all don't feel like it's anything more than just trying to make sure that's all out there and people are able to see it, review it if they have questions as well. As far as the board agenda goes, it's just public. But I think that's all that I have to report. If there's nothing else, we will continue. Number 11, I'm sorry, not 11. Next item is the agenda is the Baboquivari Unified School District Master Lease Update. Mr. Diaz?
President Buendia, members of the board, members of the community, it was brought up to our attention that our lease had expired. Our leases had expired for quite a while. So as soon as it was brought up to our attention, we began working with the legal counsel. This particular item, it was also a board request. I would like to point out that all governing board requests, they are listed also on our weekly highlights report. This is item number 31, request number 31, and it lets you know the update of all the requests that we have fulfilled. So this particular presentation is also going to fulfill request number 31 on our weekly highlights report. And in here, it shows all of the steps that we have already taken. So if you don't mind, Aaron, opening the document, with the support of Gary and also Mr. Zavala, that he is also leading and putting together all of the appointments required. I also want to thank President Buendia for joining me during the sales presentation meeting. It made a difference to be there and seek the support from the lease
Land committee.
and also thank you in advance because I know this Saturday and Sunday we have to meet with sales in Baboquivari district to be able to continue presenting to the community, asking them for their support for the continuing lease. I know we have some additional requirements, which is the surveying the land, and if you don't mind scrolling down. And some more based on today, there was also an update that some items that they're not going to be needed. But I want to thank Ben Zabala for being on top of this particular item. It requires a lot of steps, but we've been able to keep up and try to meet the requirements at the earliest convenience so we can move forward. Any questions regarding the lease?
Mr. Sabala?
I think we're moving forward at a gradual pace, but I would like to move faster, but I'm dependent on surveyors and resources from the nation. I did talk to Gerard for cultural environmental clearance. He stated that he needed to talk to his boss because he doesn't think that we do need it today. And I go, if that's the case, let me know tomorrow and give me something in writing.
Right.
We have a David Putt that's going to be contacting this week. He's been working with Toka, I believe he said, and he's been really busy, but he's going to try and give me a invoice this week of the measurements of all the lands that we sent him. And I think, thank you for going the 8th and 9th because we need those letters.
Letters of support.
Letters of
resolutions.
support. Resolutions from those two communities. And that would complete it, and we go back to BIA with BIA Realty, yes. And hopefully we just move forward from there.
We are unable to attend, and because we're going to be in AFIS, three of us, we're going to be going on AFIS. So board members, if you have it on your calendar open this Saturday and Sunday, if you would like to join President Buendia, let Ben know, and also President Buendia, because if three of you show up, it's a quorum. We need to announce it this Saturday and Sunday to present to the two other districts. The presentation is done. It's a matter of just going and presenting and answering any questions the community may have.
Don't all jump at once. Who's going to NAFIS? You and some? Jessica, who's available Saturday, Sunday?
Who's going on Saturday and Sunday?
Let me know if anything. I mean, I'm fine to do them. I just want to, I know for sure Saturday, I just found out I have a work thing, but I'm going to try and just do the presentation. But I don't know if there's anything that they might have lingering questions, but I'll do my best. But for sure Sunday, I am good. Did we get a time for Sunday, Mr. Small? No? Did we get a time for Sunday? No? Okay. That's it to Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you again. And again, board members, I requested the lease update, the agenda separate from everything so that we could definitely show that we are having those discussions and where we are at this point. I will share as far as my participation in the meeting with sales community is they definitely are aware and are concerned that they were not consulted and they are not being given the opportunity from the get-go to have a say in what goes on in their community. I'm just sharing that because I think it's important for us to be able to say that we are doing our due diligence. The school district is starting with the communities, with the districts, with who we need to have conversations with, and not just assuming that we're going to have something done and complete it as just because we can. But that's here nor there. With that, I'll move on to Superintendent Diaz's report.
President Buendia, members of the board, members of the community, within the board superintendent's report, there's also another request from the governing board, and the request is how are we supporting our students and how are counselors supporting our students, and making sure that they're on track. And part of the social emotional director report, which is right there, no, on the bottom, social emotional director, one more up. And if we can scroll down, right here. And at this point, may I have our director to give us some highlights regarding the way our counselors are supporting our students? Our counselors are supporting our students. Let's give it up for Erin Gordon, our social emotional director. Everybody, put your hands together.
Hello,
Erin.
hello, good evening, guys. Can you scroll up a little bit to the very beginning, actually the second bullet of this report? This is where I kind of broke down. I meet with our counseling staff every other week. So on a given Friday, I'll be at the secondary campus. On the other Friday, I'm at the intermediate and the primary. We all meet together for that one. So I broke down the different roles so you guys have an idea of what we all do. At the sites, it's different based on the grade levels and what's needed. So the percentage of how much a counselor is spending doing a particular activity is going to vary at the role and at their site. But I want to first make sure you guys don't have any questions on that bullet point right there.
Which one are you looking at?
So right there, our counseling staff provide, kind of go over the different duties that we have, and then how students can see us, whether or not they self-refer or that we receive a counseling referral from a staff member, parent, guardian, or community member.
I don't have any questions. Any questions to that portion? Go ahead,
Okay,
Ms. Hanson.
and then the very last of the board report came from Ms. Haley at the secondary campus, and I was asked to also include it in this report. Erin, do you mind going to the very end? Yeah. Yes, please. Keep going down. I'll go up a little bit more there. It has a little chart. Okay, so all of this information right here is provided for, by Ms. Haley in regards to the senior class and what she has done and what she's continuing to do to provide the resources for the graduating class. So a big reminder to everybody is regardless of where a student stands in credits, you can have 50 credits, but you don't have the credits in the right areas, you're not gonna graduate. Every year at about this time into the end of the year, we keep asking how many students are on track, how many students are on track, and a lot of pressure falls on Haley, and sometimes she doesn't have answers because it's not the deadlines yet, it's not the due dates. And students have to pass every single one of their core classes. That they end up in an extra math as an elective, they end up in extra elective classes, then maybe they actually don't need that to graduate. But if they don't have the 22 credits and in the right areas, they don't graduate. So sometimes, some students have failed classes. They might have failed to do the summer school or the winter session there, or they're on that border where they're not doing that extra work or not attending that tutoring. So until final grades are in, she doesn't know an answer. So a parent might actually say I need a yes or a no. I need a yes or a no, is my kid graduating? She can't give that yes or a no sometimes because those kids are right on that border until she has all the information herself. So I just want to make sure again, so we look at the number of credits, we are pretty good overall this year. With everything that we've gone through with COVID and the amount of elective students we're in deficit on, here's where we stand. And then further down is you'll see the breakdown of what she's done as far as going over the transcripts, meeting with parents, meeting with students, the field trips, etc. And she took on all of this, as far as a lot of the components when it comes to the college and career counselors, since there wasn't one in place this year. Anything?
What is Miss Haley's current title?
So Ms. Haley is the school counselor. So she's a certified school counselor, and her main role is academics. She backs up the social emotional, but she's the main one that handles the, she has different rapport and relationships with some students, and she's the go-to for those particular students. But in general, when it comes to behavior, we have Mr. Y now at that campus, who is the behavioral specialist. So he handles a lot more of the social emotional component, And again, Haley backs him, and just the same thing, he understands about graduation credits, he can go over the grad progress, he can explain, what grades and attendance, and have those kind of conversations with parents too, and he'll back her up when it comes to the academic portion.
Okay, I was just a little concerned because you have graduation requirements and a counseling report. And to me, I differentiate those things between two separate things.
Yeah, I was asked to include it in this report as well, so that's what I did.
So you oversee Ms. Haley?
I do not. So I do not oversee the counselor. The counselors are under their principals for that particular site. But I oversee in the sense that I back them, and I will work with the administration if issues arrive with a particular member of the counseling team, but I am not their direct supervisor.
Okay, maybe I need to understand guidance counselor, because Ms. Onse mentioned guidance counselor.
It's, yeah, a certified school counselor with ADE. That's the certification.
Okay, I have questions, but anything else from the board?
I
Ms.
just had a question.
Sylvia?
Regarding the college, what is it, college?
College and career counselor?
College and career, do we have any, or do we have any applicants at all?
Haven't had one
How are
all
we
year long,
advertising it?
and we haven't had a behavioral specialist at the primary all year long.
And how are we advertising everything?
I saw they recently changed the behavioral specialist position at primary to a dean of students, kind of looking more at that behavior. And I believe they changed the requirements for the college and career counselor that no longer requires a master's degree, because that's what it was changed to and then changed back. So hopefully, especially now as different people look for jobs in different places, that maybe we will get someone that can look at taking on that position. Because for a school counselor with ADE to become a certified school counselor, it's a master's degree program.
I don't know if Ms. Means, but part of our recruitment efforts that we have made for this year and also starting for next school year.
Mr. Diaz, your mic is not on.
Oh, thank you. Testing. Can you hear me now? Thank you. Part of our recruitment efforts has included the HR department along with our principals and members of the team. They have come to multiple recruitment fairs and advertising our positions. We're also advertising in multiple platforms in Try to Catch. This is a position that we've been trying to fulfill throughout the entire year. We have not been successful at this point. As the year comes closer and new graduates start finishing the programs, we also blocked a couple of Mondays between now and the end of the year to try to provide tours for any prospective candidates in any of the positions that we had open. We've been successful. Once they make it here, once they walk through the schools, once they see the students, a large group of people that come through that tour, they've been able to then stay with us.
Okay.
Any other questions for the report? If not, thank you, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. I have asked Ms. Gordon to support me with this as one of the duties as assigned to be able to provide us what is the fulfill the board request on how we're supporting our students and how our council is supporting our students on track to graduate. So are there any other questions related to this board request? That way I can provide an update.
Yeah, but I feel like I have to myself put my thoughts together on how I'm gonna ask that question. So I'll probably send you something.
So I'll know how to follow up and support.
I think for the most part, especially what a board, I know the board has asked, and I know Ms. Sylvia particularly asked this, and Ms. Gordon kind of touched on was, and kind of gave me an understanding of when we ask who's on track to graduate. I don't want to say that we should kind of have an idea, but I think that maybe the system in place to help get to that level so that we kind of have more understanding as opposed to waiting for those reports or that testing. I feel like we should be able to gauge who's about there or ready to do so rather than say we don't know until they pass a certain test.
Yes, I would like to bring my expert for the high school, and that way you can also she can add on what else is going on, so we know how to we are supporting the students to ensure that they are on track. Ms. Constance, if you don't mind adding any additional information.
Okay, just so you know, Ms. Haley, as the guidance counselor, meets with the students after the semester. Because the reality is, like Ms. Corden said, the student can be passing, and then in December, all of a sudden, they have the winter blues and decide to do nothing. And their C goes into an F or D goes into an F, so they don't get the credit, right? That's a reality as we see these young kiddos trying to get that ownership. So that does happen. And I think that's what Ms. Corden was trying to touch on. The fact right now is the students that are currently on track are in the green because they have 20 plus credits. The kiddos in the yellow, right now they can still graduate, but it's up to them because if they decide to miss the rest of the month, you know, they're behind on the work. So they have enough credits that if they pass all their classes this semester, they're going to be walking across that stage. The ones in the red, those are the ones that I explained before. They're the ones who came to us like their junior year with 0 to no credits. They have 17 credits. Is it realistic for them to graduate? Unfortunately, because of the decline, we do have some students that do jump around from school to school. And when they come, McKinney-Vento students come without their transcripts, but we enroll them. We don't know what credits they have. And sometimes they tell us and they don't remember what credits they have, so they end up retaking them because their transcripts come like a semester later because it's in that process. So we do work with them, and then they'll get that elective credit because when they take it a second time and they pass, it's an elected credit, it's not a required credit. So there's all these little things that happen. But Ms. Haley does actually track and has her system for tracking when she does meet with them. So all that is behind the scenes, and she does have her records of who she contacted. And we actually did something new for what is it called? For tutoring, because we do have Tuesday and Wednesday tutoring. What we found out is the students weren't taking the papers home. She sent a mass email to all the students who were invited to tutoring, and guess what? Those numbers went up. So it's those little pieces where the students aren't necessarily going out. One thing we did notice, and Ms. Haley noticed, is when students go from middle school to high school, you don't have to pass your classes in middle school, and especially with the way COVID was, we were a little more graceful with those Fs because we didn't know if it was the online learning, we didn't know if it was a hybrid. You missed a lot because we were honoring that you were sick and you didn't want to, you didn't want to put anyone out there, so we honored that. So they would pass maybe if they had a D or F, they still got moved up. Right now, and so when they became freshmen, you couldn't just pass up. You just don't pass up. You need those credits. But with that in mind, that is why we've created the 9th grade success team. We are working on that for next year. The 9th grade students will have the ability to, like the 9th, when I say 9th grade, it's gonna be the 8th grade students right now will have the ability to earn a half a semester worth of credit during summer school this summer to get them a head start so they don't feel behind. So we are looking at ways to get through this and encourage the students, and with research shows that if students are successful their freshman year, they're more likely to graduate. And we see the trends here when we have, the 6 kiddos that aren't going to make it unless they get that, internal motivation. But that's what we have. And again, they're yellow because they need to pass all their classes. So it could actually be 40 students. Does any questions?
Thank you. That shines a whole different light. I do want to say, considering the, what'd you call it earlier? Winter slump? Is it winter slump?
It could be spring fever too, is what they call it for this time of year. So.
Senioritis.
Yeah, senioritis. Yeah.
No, I know it's something we experience every year for sure. I just don't know if we thought about different solutions to try and, I don't know. I'm sure it's a tough time for kids at that age. I'm sure. No, thank you so much for the information, Ms. Sylvia.
Yeah. So I've always said, and I like the idea of the freshman, what did you call it?
It's called, well, call them the ninth grade success team, but yeah.
Yeah, and having them understand that they're not in middle school anymore. And this is the process. You begin the process now. You earn the grade to get the credit. And especially, I've always pushed with my kids' GPAs, because that, actually is something that is also in addition to you passing the classes, gives you the opportunity when you're ready to go beyond high school.
No, good
And
point.
so I, just wanted to make sure that this freshman academy or whatever it is giving them that information. And then the other question I had was, are we recognizing those graduates with those things?
The banners.
The banners?
The banners.
Those
like
things.
put on the-
Those things.
Yeah, we
They're
can take the
pictures.
pictures and get that done. I don't know about the hanging pieces. That's up to Mr. Diaz.
That's the answer to that is yes.
I was just
We
wondering.
have the material, and we'll collaborate with operations to collaborate with the nation to be able to hang those posters as we do it every year. I did have a follow-up, Ms. Constance Onse, if you don't mind also elaborating the credit recovery opportunities for students that they had throughout the year, during the day, during winter, if you don't mind also sharing up.
She shared it. If you
Okay.
looked at this report, it's actually on here.
Yeah.
So they actually were able to go to summer school last year. The students were all sent the information so they could go to summer school
You
this
scroll
year.
down just a little bit, Aaron. She's talking about credit
it down?
recovery opportunities. There
Right
we
there.
go. A little
See,
bit
summer
lower.
school 2024, then there was fall 2024 and spring 2025. So they did have the opportunity. We also have a few of, it's a class, credit recovery, and it's for those students who need to recover credit. So they do have access to that. They have access to the credit recovery classes after school, at home if they're sick on the weekend. So they do have access to the classes to do it. But with support, they have throughout the school day, and then right now with tutoring.
I wonder if in the new year, let's along with this ninth grade success academy, I mean whatever we're calling it now, we're giving all kinds of different names. Our community days, I feel like should have this everywhere so that parents and everyone know these are the opportunities that, because I'm sure, like you said, students aren't taking them home and they don't know, or the parents don't have an idea. I think it'd be really good. I know we highlight things like fields and field days and fun, but I would also say make sure that this stuff is plastered everywhere. Like, hey, these are the opportunities if your student or anyone is behind. I'm sure we're doing that all the time, and I'm not saying we're not, but I feel like when we have an opportunity to really affect the community and the parents or anyone else that's going to participate in these events that we're calling community days, good opportunities. Especially, I was going to mention earlier when I was at the primary campus, I did, it's the kids that just walk in, like stroll in after after 8 or 9, almost 9 o'clock, and no real like enthusiasm, just give me my stamp and I'm going to class. And that's where I'm like, all right, I see. So from there on, I mean, even then, as far as our middle schoolers, giving them that emphasis at the beginning, and again, like Miss Sylvia mentioned, your GPA has an effect on what you want to do after. It's not just graduating high school and you get to go anywhere you want. They look at these things to gauge whether you are gonna go in or not. So just opportunities I think we could look at in the next year. Mr. Diaz?
President Wendy, I just also want to point out, for the community, the Baboquivari Unified School Districts have had the opportunity to provide support after COVID for all of the students that were falling behind. We had after school, we had summer school, winter school, after school credit recovery, during the day credit recovery.
Winter
break credit recovery. We also, there were red flags embedded in the report card, so parents, they will know, so they can be aware if the student is falling behind. We are continuing to find ways in bring development and awareness to the parents, and also included Ms. Haley has met with and provided notifications to the families. That way, parents, they know if the students are on track. And we have been doing it for now, for 2 years in a row to ensure that parents are notified and they are aware that the students are on track.
And just one more thing, the master schedule was set up to ensure that there was an extra period because once upon a time there were 6 credits per school year that you could get. Now it's 7, and that was to incorporate that class that you didn't pass within the school day. So that's all been things in the works, just a little at a time.
Love it. Thank you. Good info.
So that fulfills the next request. Now for the other board reports, I would like to point out and highlight. I have to do me a favor, and I would like to acknowledge and give a big hand to Mr. Roloff. As of right now, he had been able to secure 13,686,000 for SFE funding to be able to upgrade our building. So thank you. Let's give him a hand. That takes extra work and ensuring that's funding that we didn't have to worry about. So thank you for taking it to the next level. For transportation, they're finishing the Transfinder pilot program, and that's coming down to all of the buses near you. And also, they participated in the rodeo parade and they brought home the first place. So let's give a hand to transportation. So thank you. The Sunrise House, she is also perfecting and collaborating and putting together a way how we can address the chronic absenteeism by incorporating the parent liaisons and collaborating with the nation. So that's news coming down the road. She is taking it upon herself to bring it to the nation's attention and make sure that the nation steps up. That way, our parents that are struggling, or students are struggling with chronic absenteeism, that we continue to push and elevate the support that the students deserve. I want to also give a big shout out to our exceptional education director for the Special Olympics. Let's give a big hand for the team and for the support participating. I know there's also another event they're going to be attending. And also want to point out to the member of the community, this is a request for support. We are recruiting not only for the rest of the year this year, but also for next school year. We have 6 vacancies. So if you know anyone that is fluent in the Autumn York, to please contact us so we can begin the process and guide you on how you can become part of Baboquivari Unified School District. And I want to thank the governing board for all of the support. February was pretty intense with so many requests on the weekends after many hours. Going not only to the sport events, to going to district events, and other special meetings, and plus all the classroom visits. Thank you for staying active, and thank you for being part of our learning and support for everybody. And at this point, let's play the video. Aaron?
Then he rapped, yo, yo, yo. Then he ribbon, ho, ho, ho. And on each and every package, he tied a big, beautiful bow. Check and double check so far, so simple, so perfectly perfect.
And it's kind of like
We are writing how we can until the evidence supports an author's argument.
Similar to Ali, like if you try to like fit something in a box, you're gonna need like area to find out how much you're gonna be able to fit in that.
Oh, awesome.
What is x equal to? And why? What do we notice here? You have the right answer, but we need to switch it. You are correct.
Meiosis is a process. Good guess, you're gonna see chromosomes there. Big chunks of DNA gap, big strands.
We have officially completed all the visits with all the communities and the chairman for this school year. Now our next step for the dual language program is now complete the process with HRDC and cultural preservation. But again, it was a fun journey to be able to go to all the district and provide all the highlights. And thank you for taking the time and joining us. Any questions for the board or comments?
Questions for superintendent's report? Mr. Diaz, unless you feel otherwise, I would like to excuse your directors or administration unless they feel like they want to hang around for the rest of the meeting.
You're welcome to join us until the end of the meeting. I do thank you for your consideration, President Buendia, and I know you have a long day tomorrow, so if you're ready to go home, please take some food and have a great night. Drive safely.
Thank you, guys.
Do not take all the food. Board members, go get you dinner.
We didn't eat yet. Well, I had some cheese bread, whatever it was. Okay, we'll go ahead and continue with our meeting so we get out a little as much early as we can. Our next item is the coaches and club sponsors. Again, board members, this is just for your information. Leila Ochoa for high school boys and girls. This is my question. High school track and field head coach, boys and girls head coach, and Richard Garcia for assistant track and field coach.
Is that for this year?
This year, the track and field
Yes,
people?
that is correct for this year.
Okay. If there, is that it? Okay.
Okay.
Right. If there are no other questions, again, we pulled the first reading of the Arizona School Board Association policy advisories for 809 through 818. First reading of the BUSD policy amendment for IFK graduation requirements. Are there any questions at this point, or it's just the first reading? It'll come back to our next meeting.
Do you want me to brief it real quick?
Go ahead.
Back in my recovery last semester, a policy advisory came through for graduation requirements, and that had pushed through and was approved at the September board meeting. Previously, the board had approved the graduation requirements of 1 credit of either language, TO history, or Native American studies. So once it was approved in September, those fell off. I think I just didn't give it my due diligence, and it kind of bypassed all board members and the superintendent, and I wanted to bring it back for review for the board members, and then we'll bring it back for April? Are we in April? April's board meeting.
Okay. Any questions? If not, we'll start our action items. Number 1 is discussion and possible acceptance of the FY 2024 annual audit reports issued for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Board members, this is what was presented earlier tonight. Mr. Diaz?
President Buendia, members of the board, as President Buendia said, a part of the process is after the presentation, we need to approve the audit findings and the audit outcome from the updated results. Like the presenter said, based on the progress that we have, it was mostly the many of the findings were corrected as of this year. We still have one.
Are there any questions? If not, I'd like to motion to approve.
I'm sorry, what?
I was going to motion to approve and accept the FY 2024 annual audit reports.
I second it, and just to make a comment that there was a lot of work that went into it.
Yes.
And I appreciate that the efforts that both Clementina and the district office put into getting that done.
I agree, 100,000%. If there are no other comments or questions, the Bahamak Secretary for the vote. Mosapo.
Mosapo.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mosapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Mosapo.
Jessica Miguel.
4.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Number 2 is our discussion and possible approval of the Baboquivari Unified School District 2024-2026 school year standards. Mr. Diaz.
President Buendia, members of the board, the business office and the grant director and myself, we have met with every single principal. We have looked at the projection of how we continue to be financially stable and financially sound. And as part of the projection, one of the ways that we want to now bring to your attention that we would like to increase the standards for the classroom size. At the primary, in all of the schools actually. Before the primary was 20 to 1, and some of the older students, we have 25 to 1. What we are encouraging is to increase across the district the classroom size by 3 students.
Okay.
By 3 students. Even by increasing it, we're still going to be lower than any other surrounding districts. And by doing so, it's going to be able to absorb some of the positions or close some of the positions that we will not need, making us opening up and helping us balance the budget as well.
Okay. Questions from the board? Shamtuju.
I guess, I'll make the motion, but
Oh.
I guess we'll just have to see by the end of the year how if it affected,
Mhm.
the outcomes.
We have met with every single principal, like I mentioned, and we took their input as well. They felt that based on the numbers that we're gonna have, we're still gonna be able to manage what we need to manage. It's a small increase. Any small ripple effect, anything that we plan, small steps that we take, is gonna have a long ripple effect in the long run. So this is one of the steps that we would like to feel comfortable in bringing before you. That we feel that is gonna make a difference financially as well.
What are the numbers now, and what are we going to?
Okay. For the primary, it was 20 to 1. Now it's going to be 23 to 1.
Okay.
And for the older grades, it was 23, and now we're going to go to 25 in some of the grades.
That's not too bad.
So it's still manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
I have a question. Well, I want to comment. I'll second, but I want to comment real quick. I know we initially had approved as well for those instances where someone is taking on more students. Will that need to be adjusted because of the changes that we're making to this?
Say it again.
So when they're, I forget what it's called. Somebody probably remembers what it was. We had approved a rate adjustment for those that take on more students.
That would be case management, I think, for ESF.
That's it doesn't matter for this.
It wasn't just ESS. It was when the teacher takes on more than a year of X amount of students, then they would get more funding. Is that going to have to be adjusted because you're increasing the size now per teacher? Is that what that is?
No, I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
I don't remember what it's called, but it was basically if a teacher ends up taking on more than what they're allotted for the year, they would get a stipend for taking on more students.
For secondary and for high school, hopefully I'm referring to the right
School, as far as I remember.
where if we don't have enough teachers and we ask some of the teachers to take over an extra period, and at that point,
I think this was specific to if it's for X amount of more than just a period a day. It's like if they do it for half the year, then they're due a stipend, if I remember correctly. Go ahead, Sylvia. She's
Well, just that, in line of that, I guess my understanding was that because if they went over the amount of what is the standard, then obviously, yeah, but if we're raising the
We're raising
standard,
the
it's not gonna, because whatever that
Oh, the cap.
standard is, and if they get more than what that standard is.
the cap.
That's my understanding.
my only ask is if it needs to be adjusted because raising the standard.
That is, thank you. So the overcap, Cornell, right? The overcap. We will look into that and see if we need to make any adjustments. Thank you for bringing that up. Now I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The importance of
A little while.
absolutely.
That was the only question. If not, second, if there are no other questions, Mr. Sabala? Mosapo?
Masapa?
Wasapo.
Anne-Marie Stevens,
Wasapo.
Jessica McGuire.
Four.
Motion carries.
Okay. Number 3, discussion and possible approval of the Baboquivari Unified School District 2025-2026 school year step increases. Mr. Diaz?
I'm gonna make President Munia, members of the board. I'm gonna make a little commercial. We had in one of our winter retreats, we talked about how we're going to close the inflation gap. And the way we did it, the first step was to give our teachers in classified 5%, and admin was going to be getting 2%. Next year, now we're going to invert it, and teachers we're going to get 3%, and admin was going to get 5%. Based on the review and some of the small steps that we needed to take, we're still going to be able to provide an increase to be able to reduce the inflation gap. And the way we are going to be proposing it is since teachers already got the 5% this year, they're going to be getting the 2% increase. Admin this year, they will get, instead of a 5, they're going to get 4% increase. And the classified staff, many of them that were eligible, they got the winter, during the winter, they got the vacation pay, which was an extra paycheck, but we also are proposing a 4% for this year. So the way it runs is teachers, they get a 2% plus a previous 5%, that'll be a total of 7%. Our classified, they got the 5%, the winter, but we're proposing a 4% because they're the ones that make the least amount and enclose their inflation gap. And now the admin, they will be getting a 4% plus a 2% that they got before, totaling a 6%. Having said that, I'm recommending that the administration's recommendation is the governing board approve a step increase of $630 for certified classified staff paid from the teacher and non-teacher salary schedules, approximately 53%, and a 4% increase for all staff, classified administrators for the fiscal year 2026, approximately, and that change will be budgeted for $220,000 in some cash.
Is it possible to see kind of a breakdown of what that would look like for, you don't have to see it tonight, but I understand. But just before it's implemented, what that looks like across the board?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can send an informative memo to all board members so you can see what that looks like.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I'll go ahead and motion to approve the salary increases for all staff for FY 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Anne-Marie Stevens.
All those in favor? Juan Badia.
Malsabo.
Kathleen Vance.
Masapa?
Sylvia Hendricks.
Wasapo.
Stevens.
Wasapo.
Jessica McGuire.
Four.
Motion carries 4-1.
Zero. It's not. It's probably like a little bit. Discussion and possible approval of the 2020, I'm sorry, motion carries. We'll move on. Discussion and possible approval of the 2025 proposed salary schedules for classified pay grade placement, HVAC technician, bus driver hourly salary, diesel mechanic, exceptional student services, certified salary schedule, non-teaching salary schedule, SLP, SLT salary, physical and occupational therapist, language and culture teacher FY 2026. Senor Diaz.
President Mendia, based on the previous approval, the next documents point out what is going to be the step increases for each one of our groups, and project representing and the increase that you have approved. So we recommend the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board to approve the 2025-2026 salary wage schedules as presented.
Questions from the board?
No questions.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the 2026 salary schedules by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens. Is there a second? Second, Ms. Sylvia Hendricks.
All those in favor of the motion, Juan Buendia,
Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Masapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica Miguel.
Four.
Okay, motion carries. Number 5 is our discussion and possible approval of the 2025-2026 professional and support staff supplemental schedules. Mr. Diaz.
President Maria, members of the board, members of the community, our staff, they also take all the duties. And as part of those duties, we also have some stipend to compensate for those extra duties. We have attached all the necessary documentation now to show what we are recommending for the stipends for next school year. And the administration is recommending that the proposed 2025-2026 professional and support staff supplemental schedules to be approved.
Major changes, Mr. Diaz?
I don't have my CEO right now to be able to give me the exact details, President Buendia, but I'll be more than happy to provide you with all of the details that were included and how they were changed.
Oh. Anything to highlight for the supplemental schedules? Nothing?
Just the professional, we added the ESS transitional. They were doing it individually, like at each board meeting. And so instead of having to repeat it every year, we just added it onto the supplemental. So it is highlighted at the bottom. And we did talk about it's a professional.
ESS transition stipend, okay.
Yeah, the bottom. And the only other change was the funding for the CTE director. So everything else stayed the same.
Thank you, Ms. Meese.
Thank you, Ms. Meese.
If there are no other questions, I'll motion to approve the 2025-2026 professional and support staff supplemental schedules. Second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens. Mosapo.
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Masapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica Miguel.
Four.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is our discussion and possible approval of the Baboquivari School District 2025-2026 certified and classified employee renewals. Mr. Diaz.
President Maria, members of the board, members of the community, it is the time of the year that we can come before you. At this point, this is the list and our recommendation, and we are recommending the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board to approve the 2025-2026 employee renewals as presented.
Board, are there any questions?
There's one that's a pending certification. I was
Mr. Diaz.
wondering what that meant.
If any are pending, what's the status?
Okay.
Can we offer a lifetime contract to our executive assistant?
Motion. I'll make a motion.
I'm glad you're returning. That's all I'm saying.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sylvia Hendricks, second by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens. Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mazapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica McGill.
For.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Board members, number 7 is our discussion and possible approval of the Baboquivari Unified School District 2025-2026 administration renewals. Mr. Diaz?
Similarly to the previous approval, President Mudia, members of the board, now I'm bringing before you the list of the administrators for renewal, and we recommend the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board to approve the 2025-2026 administration renewals as presented.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens to approve the Baboquivari Unified School District 2025-2026 administration renewals. Nomahi Damch.
Second.
Ms. Sylvia Hendricks seconds.
All those in favor of this motion, Juan Buendia.
Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mazapo.
Anna Marie Stevens.
Masapo.
Motion carries. Number 8 is our discussion and possible approval of the intermediate campus librarian move to special classification. Mr. Diaz?
President Munia, members of the board, in an effort to be more strategic in the positions that we have and in the way that they can support students, the intermediate campus is asking to move the librarian to a position as under the special teacher. By doing so, the librarian will be able to provide other duties, including interventions to support students and assist students in developing mastery in technology, and other duties indicated that and in the memo provided. I fully support this recommendation. That way, a librarian can be maximized to support not only the students but also the team in reaching our reading and math goals. Having said that, we recommend the Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board to approve the job classification update as presented.
Is there currently a librarian?
Yeah, we do have a
Okay.
librarian. Mhm.
So,
Go ahead, Ms. Sylvia.
oh, I just had a question. So with the change in the job description and the title, does the librarian have to apply for that, or does she just
It would be
automatically?
a lateral move. Is that correct?
The reason is because she's actually been teaching, and the librarian function isn't eligible for classroom site funds.
Oh, okay.
But as a teacher, which she has been teaching, she is eligible for those funds.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and motion to approve.
Second.
It's a good, I mean, I liked it.
No, it is.
I have a motion by Ms. Sylvia Hendricks to approve the intermediate campus librarian move to special classification, seconded by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens.
All those in favor of this motion, Juan Buendia.
Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mazapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica McGill.
For.
Motion carries.
And thank you to the current librarian for doing more than she was actually supposed to. Number 9 is discussion and possible approval of the proposed revised 2024-2025 non-teacher salary schedule. Mr. Diaz?
President Buendia, members of the board, this is also the time of the year. This is based on the list that was provided to Human Resources. We recommend that Baboquivari Unified School District Governing Board to approve the revised non-teacher salary schedule as presented.
Are there any questions for the salary schedule? If not, I'll motion to approve the 2020 revised 2024-2025 non-teacher salary schedule. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Kathleen Vance.
All those in favor of this motion, Juan Buendia.
Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance.
Mazapo.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mazapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica McGill.
For.
Motion carries. Letter G is our consent agenda. Without objection, a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Anna Marie Stevens.
All those in favor of the consent agenda, Juan Buendia.
Mosapo.
Kathleen Vance,
Masapa.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mazapo.
Anna Marie Stevens,
Masapo.
Jessica McGill.
For.
Motion carries.
Okay, our consent agenda is approved. Letter H is our request for future agenda items.
We need a study session for the SEL and policy advisory. I'm assuming we can do that in one shot. But Mr. Diaz and a couple board members are gone next week, so it won't be until after starting March 17th, 18th, or 19th, and I don't know what your schedules are available. Maybe Saturday the 22nd, or
I can't do Saturday the 22nd.
throw me some dates.
And for sure, we're on for the 6th this week, right? At
Yes.
what time?
Yeah.
What time?
5.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna be here, I promise.
You want to extend that meeting to add the 2 items?
Do you guys feel like we can probably knock those items out if we want? We're already taking the time on Thursday.
I just can't give you a concrete decision with Gary until I talk to him tomorrow.
If he can just provide something in writing, that's even better. That way he doesn't have to.
Ask him that.
I'm open.
Is everybody okay for the 6th, just to extend another hour from 5 to 8? Okay. Yes, we're doing it. All right, then that thank you. That clears. That's perfect.
Also, Mr.
And we might not go the whole time. Go ahead.
Also, Mr. Diaz has school visits to Casablanca and Gila River.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody want to commit to that?
That's on the 28th, correct?
What are your dates? Do you remember?
Yeah, the 28th.
Oh, they already know. Hey, oh.
Yeah. I don't mind.
What's the 28th? Does it say?
It's
I'll
Friday.
check my
Friday,
calendar.
yeah.
It's a Friday,
I can
March
go.
20th.
I believe it.
You can go.
But I need 100% confirmation because we make the arrangements and I want to make sure that I need your 100% commitment. So who's going to be willing to go?
I am willing to go.
Okay, Ms. Stevens.
I'm only gonna give you a 75% commitment right now.
Complicated
Give you the
order,
extra
buen
25
día.
when I.
And Casablanca.
You should go. You guys go? For real.
I can
If
give
you guys can go,
all
you
the
should go.
detail. Anybody else?
It's
Going once?
inspiring.
Going twice? Steven, buen día. Vance, maybe? And Ms. Miguel, maybe? Oh, it said a yes.
Mostly yes, but I'll let you know.
75% is what.
Funny.
80%.
80%. That's better than mine.
Hey, that's better.
Did you have anything for Gila River date?
Huh?
Did you have a Gila River date?
Was that the one? I thought that's
That is
Casablanca.
the one.
Scary there. No, just kidding.
Stop.
Okay,
They canceled the mucho then.
that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
That's a lot.
That'll work.
Are there any other topics for the April agenda you would like me to include or follow up?
We're back to our regular schedule in April.
I think after April.
Is it? Because I thought it was the tracker that you sent was the first Monday of April.
It's after April.
We're not doing April, are we? No, we're not. We're doing we're going back to the regular Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah.
In
Let me
April?
see tracker.
Okay.
So it'll be the
April 8th.
April 8th. April 8th. You guys don't get spring break.
No, students do. Admin doesn't.
Okay.
Unless they
It's
take the time off.
17th to the 21st, right? Spring break.
And
Okay. If there's nothing else for future agenda items, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sylvia Hendricks. I'll second. Mosapo.
Sylvia Hendricks,
Mosapo.
Anna Marie Stevens, Jessica Miguel.
Or